Still play the
like,
music.
They said it would grow into it, but it just never happened.
You're like Deadpool. You're like baby arm? No, literally, it's a baby toe. It's adorable.
I can't believe it. It's like it doesn't matter that you are here talking. The intro's going. You're still talking. I mean, it's all good.
Can I interrupt myself?
Yes, you are totally interrupting yourself.
Yeah.
And finally,
Can we just cut this guy?
Chimichanga
Look at
arms.
Whoa!
Dude.
Wow.
That was like in Dolby Audio surround sound, 6.6 surround sound.
Is this Maximum Driftcastception?
It is.
It's like Jaredception.
It's a blessing, is what it is.
Oh,
Thank you, guys.
Yes, it is a blessing.
It's a blessing in disguise.
In disguise, actually. Well, it's all.
Now
Don't
it's in
look.
disguise.
Don't look. Don't look.
Like Phantom of the Opera. Who am I? I can't tell who you are with half a face.
Just half the side of your face just melted off.
Oh,
Don't look
gosh.
at me, lazy eye.
I'm not an animal. Anybody know that movie?
What? I'm not an animal.
Yeah.
I'm not an animal.
It was the first movie I was really scared of.
Well, I'll tell you the first movie that I was.
Showgirls?
What was the first movie?
Showgirls.
Corey's first scary movie.
Featuring, what was that the chick from Saved by the Bell?
Saved by the Bell.
No, not
Mommy.
Tiffany Amber
Not
Thiessen.
Tiffany Amber
That's
I would watch that movie any day.
yeah, what? She's the brand new one.
Yeah.
What was the first movie you're scared of?
Elephant Man.
Really? That's
Elephant Man's a true story. Do you know about Elephant Man?
I've seen pictures of him on the
He's
internet.
best friends with Elephant Man.
Big Balls was like, yep. Do you remember Elephant Man as a movie?
Well, Brian
I-
suffers
I
from
spent so long.
elephantitis, which is very similar.
Yeah, they call him Tripod.
So, what was it,
It's a
Brian?
problem.
Elephant Man, give us your scoop.
I remember something about like a circus freak show.
Elephant Man had elephantiasis, and basically he had like he had a disfigurement like all over his body, and then just I remember this line as a kid. He's like, "I'm not an animal," and like people were scared of him. But the
That
running,
scared
the,
you?
the- yeah, he's just frightening. And then Michael Jackson eventually ended up buying his bones. Did you know that?
Whoa.
Yeah. Michael Jackson. If
The
you
bone
look,
collector.
the bone.
I heard-
Michael Jackson, the bone
I
collector.
heard he turned the bones into powder and make it into like a protein shake. That's why he was so healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Could
R.I.P.
be.
Pour some
Yeah.
out for
Yeah,
pour some out for
MJ.
MJ. Hey, cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, you drink?
Oh, good
You're
job.
drinking your
Water.
protein.
Look,
shake?
he's got the
It's
double.
water.
He's
It's
got
water.
a double stack. No, show the double stack.
I'll
dude.
show the double stack. There's
Yeah, let me
nothing.
So there's you got your vitamins, you got your water, you got your
The Skittles.
That's
Is this your Spanish fly?
yeah. That's
So you get fully Richter right here.
that's
Yeah,
prophylactics.
yeah. Get fully torqued.
Yep. So Elephant Man was just. Do you know what movie scared me when I was a kid? I don't know. Puppet Master. Do you ever remember
Okay.
that?
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
Puppet Master. Yeah, that was old school. And I remember watching
That
it
was
at my
freaky.
friend's house, and I was like, now looking back at it, it's like, do you remember the movie The Leprechaun?
I am the leprechaun.
That
Yeah,
scared
Wayne's
me.
World.
That scared me. That scared me too.
Well, was that Peter Wienschek?
That was
Yeah,
I
am the, yeah. I am the Candyman. So, oh my gosh,
the leprechauns
we
here.
figured it out.
That's right.
Which by the way, are you dropping the Candyman thing for next year?
No, I asked him. I got full rights and clearances. I have the piece of paperwork at home.
Yeah, people
He's
got
cool
banned
with it.
about it, huh? Is that what it was?
No,
what was the story?
The story is that basically being a candy man is kind of synonymous like
Like a-
sugar
like
booger, candy,
gotcha.
drugs. So that's why the correlation of Candyman was not good for when Pete's are sick.
Man.
So I caught wind of this.
Okay.
So I went straight to the horse's mouth, not calling him a horse.
Right.
But I went straight to the Candyman's mouth.
Right.
And I said, hey, with the machine there as well.
Okay.
James the Machine Dean.
So you
I
had
said,
backup.
hey, man, I hear there's little murmurs of you not wanting to be called the Candyman. Are you cool with this? And he says, I like. I said, all right, cool. I
running
think
it.
that's
Done.
signing off.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. People get sensitive about that stuff. Or why? It's like, why does he? Well,
It's
first of all,
because it's
I never
2018.
even.
Rightfully so.
Well, I never put two and together. Like, I would never consider.
Well, but
like,
that was
first
because-
thing to my mind, Candyman. I would
Say
would
three
try
times.
it.
Say 3 times in front of the mirror.
Right. Yeah. Peter. pops
Candyman,
out, "Hey."
Candyman, Candyman shows up.
It's like, hello, let's go drift.
Let's go drift, my friend.
Yeah.
No, that was That's I don't know.
Do I get a proper introduction? Does everybody know who's here?
Yeah, we should actually.
let's do that.
Let's. This is like going to like a Red Hot Chili Peppers concert or something where it's like, all right, on bass guitar.
Flea.
He wears a tube sock on his little genitalia. He has giant glasses. They're massive now. He can actually see all the way to Uranus. Paco Ibarra.
Yep.
That's a good one.
I think somebody's playing the bass too.
Oh, and then
The double bass.
oh, hold on, we got to introduce Brian over here. So hit me with the bass line, Pac.
Seinfeld?
He's half the size of Kramer. Half the size of Kramer.
Yeah.
He's got the hair.
He was. I wanted to say how old he is, but he doesn't look a day over 16. Suffers from a giant testicle disease. Elephantitis. We got big balls. Brian.
Bow bow.
And then Jared. Oh boy.
Jared, that's it. That's all I get.
And Jared's here, guys. Jarod DeAnda's in the building. Yeah. Well, we know the instrument Jared plays is probably the bass flute, and catching wind on the bass flute. And then it's just obviously the bass flute note. Ooh, sounds like a tugboat's coming.
Actually, just play a rain stick. I just go.
Wait, hold on. As we're on the topic of music and rain.
Yeah, and Africa.
Okay, how did that go down?
I don't know. I don't know how I became
just
the.
showed up one day.
I literally don't know how I became the ambassador.
I think I do.
How's that?
So, from what I can recall, every single time you get on a car, especially every time you get in a car with us,
Yeah,
you take over of the stereo.
I kind of do.
And the first song he plays,
In
it
his
was
credit,
Africa.
he's usually interrupting like a Venga Boy song or a
Fucking,
Tarzan.
This is Sam's playlist.
Yeah. So we're going through Sam's greatest hits.
Yeah.
And then obviously this is like probably 3/4 in the party zone. It has to be interrupted with a proper ditty, as it's the true pregame to whatever event it may be going to. So Sam starts off with some Raffy's greatest hits all the way up through. Finally getting to the
Zamfir, Master of the Pan Flute.
But then, okay, so with that being said, Paco, you bring that up. How does that translate to everybody else? How does everybody else catch wind of it?
Because we started like, okay, Jared.
I don't want to take credit for it.
Yeah, no. So what I'm saying, like
none of us.
like what we started doing Instagram stories of Jared. All right, Jared, let's play your song. And Jared's just like So it started spreading on your stories, I guess, in our stories and Sam's stories and your stories. And then people started seeing that, and people started like, "Oh, there looks like Jarod enjoys that song," because every time these guys are together,
It just makes sense, right? I mean,
it only makes sense. Let's start messaging Jarod while I'm listening to the same song.
I mean, you can't not be mad.
All right, this is how we get demonetized today.
When you hear that song,
Yeah. So now it's been how long has it been happening? It's
1 week.
It just started yesterday, and I get tagged.
It's a new fad.
4,000 times.
It's a new fad. The rains from Africa just start pouring in the middle of the studio.
Well, you go to their Spotify viewership, and it was like 10,000 audio downloads. Now it's at 6.8 million.
Well, and here's the thing. From what I understand,
okay.
What's his name? Brian shit. No, what's
are we gonna talk about drifting?
Yes, but hold on.
This is our prelude. This is still your intro, by the way. This is still your intro.
On the
come on, let's fire it up. What is he
instrument
playing
is
tonight?
this?
What is
The babble flute.
Rivers Cuomo from Weezer.
Okay.
He saw
Wow.
Wiener
Cuomo.
Quiver. Who's Wiener
I was
Quiver?
like, who's Wiener Quiver?
From Weezer. Okay.
What's the Robin Hood Prince of Thieves? From his Wiener Quiver.
I didn't do it.
From what I understand, he saw one of her stories, and he decided, you know what? I'm gonna remake that song. I'm gonna make a cover.
I would agree with that.
So you can thank us.
No.
For
oh wow.
Weezer's
It's like
cover.
that?
Paco just taking.
Boom! I just took credit. Well, we took credit.
Okay.
So, anyways, so how often do you get tagged in these things now? How often are you getting?
I don't. If you go to my Instagram thing, I've actually cataloged them with Bless the Rains. So if you go to them, there's a bunch of little dots. So you know how you can catalog a bunch of stories.
There's no dots left.
There's it's just one solid stripe.
It's just a beam.
No, but people tag me in them, and basically the answer to that is I consider it kind of like seeing yourself on the big screen at a baseball game.
Yep.
So I think people are psyched, and I throw them up on the big screen.
That's awesome. No,
at the
that's
baseball game.
no, it's totally cool.
And by no means do I have the followers that other people do, but you know what? It's all love.
It is, and the thing is, it's sticking obviously, and whatever it is, and then obviously you were in Africa, and that was kind of a funny
and then the
coincidence. Where did you have a moment where you're like?
Did you see my shirt? I wore the shirt down there.
Yeah, but you were in the pool. I remember because like the odds,
dead.
all came together. Not a cloud in the sky. The sun broke out. It rained out. Oh, all right.
Literally, the last day I was there, we were around the pool, and it's all like just
dude,
raining.
That is the best.
Yeah.
Yep. Drifting. We could probably start rolling that here in a second. Balls, do you have anything you want to say before we roll into drifting?
Nah, let's do it.
How are things, man?
Yeah, that's cool.
Right.
Thanks for the intro for that. Bend down to drifting.
Yeah. No, how are things with you guys?
Awesome. It's you're obviously done with traveling for the year.
I'm done or down?
You're down to travel anymore.
I'm done to travel.
with the sickness.
No, you put up. You came back from New Zealand. You said you're traveling. You're done traveling for the year for drifting.
I am done. I officially had my last flight just this last weekend, and it's a good one, man. It was a stout one,
dude. And I don't think people realize how much you actually travel for this drifting stuff.
Yeah.
And I know Sam travels a lot too, but I think you probably are let's see. You're probably the dude in drifting who probably is on a flight more than any other person probably involved with drifting.
Pretty close.
I would say
pretty close. I mean, I think that now Forsberg going to China a little bit. Vaughn does a lot. He went to Europe twice.
And Lantain goes to Brazil.
Lantain, actually, he's logging some miles.
That's why I say Lantain and you are probably the top 4 easy at this point.
Lantain is traveling full.
I asked him how he does it.
You know what? He has no kids.
Nope.
No wife.
Nope.
He's just a gigolo everywhere I go.
And he goes everywhere. I'm like, is there any place that you won't go? And he's like,
no,
nah,
he's down, which is good. And just knowing, I've known Lantain for probably 10 years. Because I used to go up to Canada with like a few of the guys, and I announced up there previously when it was Drift Mania, and then DMCC, and then eventually Formula Drift Canada. But he used to drive that GTO back in the day, the BF Goodrich GTO. What?
Lantain.
Just him in that car.
Yeah,
it
I
just
see
does not pair
Lantain
well.
in this beautiful American man.
Yeah. Who?
I'm just kidding.
Oh,
Lantain.
yeah. It's like, what?
Yeah. Let's get this scrawny Canadian in this big old American built GTO.
Well, it was a two car team too, and gosh, her names escape me right now, but it was a female.
Really? Well,
Yeah,
they probably get confused with Ryan a lot.
Yeah, I know. From behind, you're like,
can you?
Yeah, she had like a short haircut. It's really weird. Yeah, no, Lantain travels a ton, and I commend him for it.
Yeah,
I mean, traveling for me is a zest of life.
Right. It's much respect to you guys.
Beg to differ.
Yeah, no, much respect to you guys because you look at the time invested just into traveling purely, right? Going to South Africa, I'm sure just planning, getting there, the time difference, sitting on that airplane.
Calm down right now.
I sweat thinking about this. I literally.
Well, it literally is 100 degrees and it's 50 outside. I don't know what. Paco, turn on an air conditioner. I mean, I got a flannel on coming in here.
Yeah, I'm wearing my Michael Jackson jacket just for Jarod.
Come on.
Come on. And I'm sweating my little testes off. But I really haven't traveled where I'm in a different time zone or a day or behind or ahead, right? I haven't done that yet.
Yeah.
But the strategy of traveling there, I've heard people miss flights because they're flying back home. It says on Tuesday and it's Wednesday, and they leave a day different.
Amateur hour on that.
But that's new guy stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's new guy stuff. And outside of that, how long were you on an airplane going to South Africa for?
South Africa, well, let's pull up my app, Trip It. And so while I'm doing that, I flew 130,000 miles this year just on American. I don't do a lot outside of American Airlines.
Much respect.
So American Airlines.
Okay.
Executive Platinum happening again. So stoked on that jammer. But let's take a look. So going Phoenix to Heathrow is 9 hours and 50 minutes. And then Heathrow to Johannesburg is 11 hours and 20 minutes.
So 20 hours.
So 20 hours, that's in air time. But also, you factor in, you land at 1:35, you take off at 4:20, you got a couple hours laid over in Heathrow. You come back. I got in, so Johannesburg to Heathrow. I got in at 7:30.
Right.
Flight didn't take off till 2:30 out of Heathrow to Phoenix. So I was there from 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That was 7-hour layover.
Yeah.
So you factor all that in. But then, most recently in New Zealand, I leave 3 p.m.
Yep.
out of Auckland, get back to LAX. So I leave Monday.
Right.
Or no. Yeah, Monday at 3 p.m. I get back to Los Angeles after a 11, 12-hour flight. Get back at 6 a.m. the same day. I went back in time.
Save what?
Have you ever done that? Anybody?
That's little. I mean, you
6 a.m.
you went back in time.
Yeah. Gonna go back in time. Have you ever? I have aspirations of seeing. Let's
Seeing
let's
the
talk
same
about
sunset
let's
twice?
talk about drifting. No, I had two stories here.
Okay.
I would like to see New Year's Eve in Sydney and also see it in the States because that can happen. Because
Yeah.
remember, like it
if-
first becomes the new year in
you
Sydney
like pain.
out of everywhere else. Yeah, I mean, I figure next year
It's an experience.
Formula Drift.
Yeah.
It's announced. I mean, we'll talk. We'll get to that. in
Right,
a
right.
moment.
Yeah,
But so I'd like to see the new year in Sydney and then travel to the
U.S.
States.
hit two New Years.
And then I will tell you another fond drift memory when Formula Drift went to Global Time Attack, or not Global Time Attack, but World Time Attack Challenge in Sydney at Sydney Motorsports Park. Daijiro Yoshihara and I were cruising around. We were
Okay.
there, and we went to the Opera House, which is the famous
Yep,
kind
the-
of shell, kind of
Yep.
conical looking building. I had a moment, dude. I welled up.
What happened?
No, I was emotionally kind of like, wow, this is kind of dope because drifting took me here.
Oh, gotcha.
Drifting took me
Yeah.
around the world. This is a place that was iconic in my mind because, for any American, it was the place that you saw on
Yep.
TV
Yeah.
and the fireworks going off on the
Yeah.
bridge.
Yeah, no, I'm
Well,
I'm
I
totally
know
with you.
exactly. I know exactly what you mean. I mean, I always wanted to go to New York,
Yeah.
and I never been to New
It's,
York.
it's 5 hours away. New York, New
yeah,
York.
it's not-
It's in
I-
Las Vegas.
Same thing, Bob.
I meant driving.
5
It's
hours,
an hour flight.
5 hours driving. But no, I mean, like,
have you ever heard the skit about the stand-up comedian? I think is it David Cross where he talks about and where if people at the New York casino felt the same things that people felt in New York when I was there, not there. Just look it up. It's a whole,
Wow.
it's a whole skit.
got it.
David Cross.
But
That's a good
David
one.
Cross,
Yeah,
hashtag.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, like, same thing. Like, I always wanted to go to New York, never been,
Yeah.
and I never been until drifting took me there.
Yeah.
And that's a further. I mean, I've been to Alaska,
Yeah.
but it's been a long time, and it was a pleasure cruise.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Okay.
Just
Pleasure
a
cruise.
massage parlor all the way to Alaska. Just a pleasure cruise.
Yeah,
It
it was
sounded
a
like
Why'd you have
good
to
room.
why'd you have to
Holy-
slow your voice down when you said it like that?
that's-
Are you
wanted to make-
contractually obligated?
I
to
wanted
say
to make.
that?
I wanted to make sure people knew that.
I could just see it's a
Well,
giant.
I mean, I've always wanted to go to New York, and then I went to Alaska, but it was a
pleasure cruise.
pleasure cruise.
Yeah.
all I imagine is Paco getting a small Jack Shack room for 6 days. For 6 days, and he just comes out just so slickened up that he just
Yeah.
whoop, slides right
Yeah.
in his clothes. Yo, whoa.
Yeah,
Just
No, but-
totally refreshed.
But anyway, but sure.
Where'd that week
it was
go?
a
yeah, all right. So,
pleasure cruise.
But yeah, no, like, I mean, I went to New York this year. I went to Chicago.
yep.
Um,
St. Louis.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, Chicago's like a big city as well.
Right.
You know, I went to experience.
St. Louis is the gateway to the West. Why is that in a big city?
I mean, I
We
no,
did
no,
have
no.
the Rough Riders do
I-
burnouts in front of our Airbnb, which was
And
awesome.
Yeah.
I saw the arch. No, I
Yep.
mean, I saw. I've never been to Florida
Yeah.
until this
Oh.
year. So this
for
year, I
you.
went to a lot of places I've never been before, and
Yeah.
it was because of drifting. So I get it. I mean, obviously you're doing it on a even higher scale, a bigger scale.
It's all relative, right? I mean,
Right.
I got a couple of years on
Yeah.
you, but I
yeah.
would say I wouldn't.
But I
have
get
traveled-
it.
yeah.
I mean, this year pretty much we went to one event per month, pretty much.
And that's feels like a lot.
Yeah,
if you're
it's
not
like-
used to doing
That's
it.
cute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, but what I'm
really
saying
cute.
is when you have, obviously, you look at people who travel as a profession and as a living, and if you look at it, how many days did you actually work here in Arizona where you live this year?
I don't work in Arizona.
Well, that's exactly my point.
Yeah.
So your job, literally, you didn't have one work day here. That's
I can't think of a few. We did a snap on video here, and we did something else.
3 days.
One.
One day of shit.
Literally one
But that
day.
just shows the amount of traveling that you do versus work, that a majority of it is It's out. You're on a plane going somewhere. You're not like a traditional 9 to 5. Are you getting hot in here?
Getting hot.
Yeah.
So take off all your clothes.
Yeah.
Getting so hot.
Yes, and the only reason I bring up the traveling is because it is a part of drifting, and especially when you do it on a level that a lot of these other guys do, it's a lot of moving parts now that go into getting to an event.
Right.
But yeah, no, I was because every time, and the other reason why I bring up traveling as well is, I'll tell you one thing I do, and it's kind of a nerdy thing, but I'll tell you what I do. Is so anytime I see that you or Forge were in the guys going out of town, I look, and Jeff Jones is just out of town right now. To China.
Yeah,
so what I do, this is
George, and Kyle Mamahan, and then Jeff Jones.
So what I do, this is nerd thing. This is nerd facts.
I like it.
So what I do is I watch the Instagram, right, and usually you guys have a prelude of getting to the airport, having your drink, showing your seat, and then it's hey, I'm here, and I time frame all that. Okay.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So I look at what the airtime was. I try to guess, like, dude, he was just traveling for X hours. Oh, he's so I. That is what I do when I look at it. Is I judge what, and I don't know why.
Could you handle that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. But I think the reason what triggers me to do that is because I think about it a lot. Even when I fly, it's like, okay, God, I'm going to be in there for 5 hours.
Yeah.
So it's like one of the things I don't enjoy flying. So I look at those little details. But yeah, I see when, okay, he has about 20 minutes, 30 minutes at the airport, it looks like. Because a lot of these guys do the same. Everybody has a very similar repetition. So I check out travel time and things like that. And obviously you go to New Zealand, you got the upgrade. It's like, okay, that's probably nice.
Game changer.
All right,
dude.
so what is, okay, once again, just purely curiosity out of flying. Going, and I haven't flown on a big plane yet, like a 777
Dreamliner,
Dreamliner,
Airbus,
anything like that. Going from what, a coach seat or a business seat to what, a first class seat.
You go economy.
Okay.
Economy plus.
Yep.
So American. We're talking
Right.
American.
Right.
But
Yeah.
I flew BA, British Airways,
Okay.
to Johannesburg.
Right.
So no upgrades there. But they actually did upgrade me on the way home. Sick.
Nice.
But literally to Heathrow, my plane had like ashtrays in it. Like
That's cool.
That's an old,
Throwback.
that's an old one.
Throwback.
What was that, Pan Am?
Asher vape in it or something.
Yeah. It was,
You had stewardess?
yeah, as a dude just cranking gars next to me. And then the other flight was a nicer plane. It was a Dreamliner. But so economy plus, and then you go business class. And then some planes are gnarly and they got the first class.
Right.
I mean, that's next level. And it's not scaled. It's like, okay, a one-way ticket, $600. We looked at it. The business was $2,400
Okay.
one way from Auckland to LAX. So one way, right? So
And that was first class for
that
24?
was so economy was $600.
Okay.
Business was $2,400.
Okay.
So it's not scaled. I don't think.
Even though I look at that, I'm like, it's so worth it.
Yeah, it's gnarly. It's
Is-
gnarly. So so it's just a game changer. And as big as my Shrek butt is,
Yeah, I was
like,
gonna say that's
it's still lie flat. It's money. I mean, dude, whatever. I drank them out of Woodford Reserve.
Yep.
I got this.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say, so once again, this is purely just my thoughts. For me, it's like being in a first class seat on a trip like that. You can recline, you can lay back,
Well,
you can
because
put
you
your
got-
feet up, you have your own space, you can sprawl out.
Yep.
You can, right. The other ones are it's not. You have a reclinable room, right? But you're still fixed sitting upright.
Yeah.
So if you're like, dude, I just want to lay down and put my feet up for 2 seconds. Think about it. This is what I think about. Think about going a day for 18, 20 hours and not being able to stand up or lay down
Dude,
for a
believe me.
minute.
Believe
You know what I
me.
mean? So that's what goes through my head is a moment of
And
uncomfortableness.
you're a sizable dude like me too.
Yeah.
And to be honest, it's tailbone. My tailbone starts to like get uncomfortable, dude.
Corey's got a lot of caution behind his tailbone.
Well, that's
Yeah?
so. But the thing
I
is, I
have
talk
no
about
ass.
Lantaine. That's why I talk to Lantaine. Lantaine's like, dude, throw me on a plane for 24 hours.
Woof.
I'll go right to Russia, right down to Brazil, and it's just he doesn't phase him at all.
but Brian also like eats extremely healthy and works out.
Speaking
like,
about that,
What are
his
you talking
body
about?
is like his body is a temple.
Okay. So here's a food fact about Lantaine. I'm sitting there at FD Texas, and we were talking about food, and he was eating.
We're eating barbecue.
Soup. We're eating barbecue.
Yeah,
He
He's
eats
eating
salad with no salad dressing. I go, how do you eat a salad with no salad dressing? He's like, oh, the fruits give it the flavor. I'm like,
Was he Bugs Bunny?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
what are some sort of- I fed that same stuff to
What's up, Doc?
fed that same stuff to my turtle
Hey, real,
the other week.
real quick. We have 2 super chat questions on YouTube.
sick.
Nice.
If you're watching on YouTube, you can send us a super chat question, a small donation of money.
Yeah, I feel
We'll
like
get
I'm
you
trying.
on top of the line. So
Sorry to fail.
Max23653 is asking, is Parker Jett going to get to pick his first car?
Oh,
What will be Parker Jett's first car is going to be?
probably my Tundra.
The Tundra?
Yeah.
That's. Do you think I'll keep that for that
Yeah,
long?
no, I
Okay.
actually. Excuse me.
Whoa!
I actually wanted to. I had an FJ Cruiser before that. I
Yeah.
had the last good year of what I consider the good year of the FJ Cruisers because I had the cement color and it was
Yep.
a Trail Teams edition, so it's dope, gray and black because they did the Trail Teams
Yeah.
special edition, the blue with the white lipstick. It looked whack. Looked like Chelsea DeNofa's white lipstick on his Mustang, which is whack. I've told Chelsea this multiple times. So hopefully he's offended, or Chelsea, his girlfriend Chelsea is
Yeah,
offended.
okay.
But I wanted to keep the FJ, but then we got pregnant with T-Bone. So you have to do like military training to get in the FJ with like a baby the baby thing with a baby carrier. So we got the Tundra, and literally we had this conversation yesterday, and Tyson was like crawling over the truck, ripping around his crazy car. And he's like, no. And Stephanie, my wife, was like, hey, like you better not damage that. You're gonna get that eventually. And Parker's like, hey. So he wants the truck.
yeah.
Oh,
He's down.
nice.
It's the nicest car I've ever owned. And again,
Yeah.
everybody's like, what do you have? I'm like, I have a Tundra. And if I go to the country, like people in New Zealand are like sick.
Sick,
Oh,
bro.
yeah,
They
they-
don't get big trucks.
This
FYI.
new Tundras are like actually pretty much every new pickup truck right now.
Brian
is super
vapes, by
sick.
the way.
Yeah, Brian's vaping right
I
now.
didn't know Brian vapes.
Yeah, because
Can we get some crackles on the microphone? Do you have that thing amped up right now?
I don't think anybody want to hear that.
Get that thing fired up. Turn it up to 10,000
Turn up
megawatts.
to 11.
Is it an analog digital? Is it,
It's just a basic small vape. It's not a giant battery vapor. It's just
You know,
I
dude,
quit smoking, and this is helping me.
I based
how long
vape
did you smoke?
yeah, I smoked.
Like full
That's-
analog? Like
in
listen-
'76.
he was
started
supposed to
smoking.
grow, he was supposed to grow 6'2",
Yeah, it's the next
Yeah,
growth.
it's done in
but
my
cigarettes
growth,
happen.
All right. Well, good for you. I
thank
don't mean to make light of it.
No,
but
but
you're
I judge people's vape
sucking
skills
the
based
robot
based
penis.
off the crackle.
Wait,
So the crackle means they got that thing cranked up.
Do it again. Let me hear the
Okay,
crackle.
let's hear it. And I'll tell you a story.
Oh,
That's
moment
not
of
bad.
silence.
That's not bad. That's
Yeah.
that was. You need
Let me
to get
see-
more.
let me-
amp-
Let me see.
It sounded like a
There's
campfire.
Whale watching.
Dude,
There
I
we go.
watched
We're
some
doing whale
dude,
watching here.
and the only thing, so the vape thing, dude, I don't know where I was, but it was like I watched a scene out of a movie where two dudes go face to face and they both saw each other's vapes in their hand, like they looked down at it, they looked at each other in the face, and then
It
they
was like
did
a
it-
Western. It was
Dude,
like a
they did
it
a
was like-
vape pull, right?
Yeah.
And I watched somebody like literally dial his in, like, and I'm
It's a
standing
va-
just
it's
as
a
a
vape off.
bystander at an event and watching this. I'm like, it's going to go down right now. I knew something was going to happen.
Really?
Oh yeah. Dude. And so, anyways, I watch this dude crank up the vape.
Yeah.
And he hits it, and dude, I'm watching juice and smoke and shit just start flying out of the vape. The thing was crackling so hard, and I was like, "My God, that
Can
was
I
the most-
interest you in a Bonington's?
I don't even know what that is."
Dude,
you
he
drink-
barely drinks water.
No,
and
but this is a
protein
British
shakes.
proper pint. So listen. So
okay.
talk about the crackle.
Yep.
So this has
Pop goes the whistle.
nitro in it.
Okay.
It's gonna make your
did
poops.
that lip thing clear up yet?
It's gonna
Oh, yeah,
make
no, I
it's
just-
gonna make
okay.
your
Put it
poops
up
come
there.
out
Put some
faster,
Vaseline
Corey.
on
Take a
Yeah.
pull off that.
So
I think you'd enjoy a Bonington's.
let me just.
He's
let me
gonna
just
get
take
he's
a
gonna
look.
get
No.
all over the mustache.
I mean, what do you think I have, dog?
It's actually very smooth.
That's a nice, creamy.
Nitro
Yeah,
stout.
it's a very smooth beer. Yeah, so once again, we're getting off way topic here, but
know.
talking about
Oh,
beer,
gosh.
so he
We
drinks
will
beer that
more.
I've never even seen or heard or existed or the things that go in beer. I'm not a big beer guy. I'll drink beer,
Oh, he's
obviously.
the beer
but
wolf.
I look at his
Where's the beer
stuff
wolf?
that he's drinking, and I'm like, I don't even know where you'd even
Right.
think about buying some of this
Acquire
stuff.
that, yeah. And I'm not even to the extra degree, but like I have friends that have no kids and they have like beers, like a beer fridge stocked.
Yeah.
I have kids, so that can't reside in my fridge because I'll
Right.
just drink it. No, but I mean, like we have beer hangs. Like we're gonna have one next Tuesday.
And it's just
Oh,
Sam
thanks.
drinking. And,
Oh, it gets lit. I mean, you gotta bring it.
You gotta
And,
bring.
yeah, your
bring-
ciders
bring
and your
the game.
sours are yeah.
Well, there's
But,
there's some pretty aggressive sours out there.
Actually, coincidentally, I have my buddy called me today. My homeboy Splinter. His name is Splinter.
Okay, he's no shredder.
He's a master. He's a master
at
Splinter.
Barrel Theory in St. Paul, Minnesota. I'm gonna give him a little shout out.
Cool.
He just literally. I guess nobody should know that he's sending me beer, but he's sending me some bangers.
Oh,
Okay.
Some bangers right now.
Sours?
Some sours that they normally don't put in Crowler. So
May
unfortunately, I
I?
put Barrel Theory on pass. We'll see.
Oh, well, I mean,
We'll see.
weird flex then. I mean,
Weird flex, but yeah.
but
Weird
okay.
flex.
Awkward. Next topic.
Yeah.
All right. Go on to
But
your balls.
cue the vape.
I have another super chat question.
Okay, hit it real quick.
Real quick, and we go back
So
to
did that? Hopefully that answers his question. Parker will be getting my Tundra.
Yes.
Awesome.
That's the first question.
Aaron Quillis, Jared, fuck one, kill one, marry one.
Who?
Sam Paquan, Corey.
Oh man.
God, here we
I
go.
feel like we've gone through this
I
again.
think we
probably
are,
have.
but he's paying for this question,
Okay.
so he deserves his answer.
I feel like again, I want to marry Paco.
Thank you.
Because
Wow,
he'd be a
that's nice,
terrible lay.
Okay. I'm going to teach you a little something. And then Paco
Yeah.
falls in love because you
Yeah.
taught him so much.
His feet are smaller. You can get closer to the counter.
and I
He's gonna
become-
make me a good meal. And
But-
you're gonna
but-
make me
and you give me my green card.
Make him legal.
There
Yeah.
we go.
So
We
there
make
you
it
go.
God.
legal.
That's
It's
it.
Thank you.
Love
Good
wins.
job.
Love
Yep.
wins.
Yep.
And then
I'll take either one. I'll take either one.
you know what? I think you'd be I mean, we're kind of a sizable
Oh, yeah.
kind of group.
Yep. Yeah.
So Sam's dead.
Perfect. That's it. We can always just lift each other
Actually,
up.
that literally happened.
We can always like swap. I mean,
Because before we went live, Paco made me a great meal. And guess what Corey and I did in the bathroom before we went live? And R.I.P. Sam.
Later, Sam. It's okay.
Take
a
off
lot of
your
people.
hats. No, don't take off your hat.
No,
please don't take off your hat.
My hair would go with it.
Don't tell anybody.
There's a lot of people that Sam has been on the chopping block for a long time in that same question. So Sam, that's kind of the that's a recurring theme for Sam. So it's all right.
I mean, I love Sam.
I love Sam too.
I've loved him more, but
But I do watch the chats when we have a group chat going
Yeah.
on, and Sam will egg you on to trigger you more to get a deeper
I
response.
hate being triggered, dude.
And that's Sam. That's Sam's MO.
he loves our reaction.
Yep. And Sam.
But that's the thing. I mean, it like we know where it's coming from, so at least he knows. It's like, all right, this guy's doing it on purpose. I'm gonna give him the reaction.
But
that
there's
he
a
wants.
time, even it could be the worst time of day. You could be having the worst day, and it's like, I'm gonna respect him. Jared's having a bad day, but no, there's no stopping Sam
The Nalb
with
machine.
on a mission.
So truth be told, last time I was supposed to be on,
Yep.
let's just bring it up. Last time I was supposed to be on, we talked about me being on.
Yep.
And I had to put my dog
Yeah,
down.
that was pretty
I had to
sad.
put my dog down.
Right.
And it just wasn't right. And I was like, seriously, guys, like, can we not joke? And like it was just like too soon. And
we
I'm
were
like,
try-
hey,
yeah.
assholes, like
trying
come
to
on.
and trying
Yeah.
to lighten up the mood. Like crack a little smile.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
No, I
you
mean,
know.
believe me, I did. We put Enzo down. So
bummer.
I mean,
But-
but I got my tattoo. I love
Yeah.
him. He's good. He's
Yep.
he lived a full life. He was
How many years?
almost 14.
14. That's a good. Yeah,
it
that's
was a good run. Good
Nice.
run. So
Yeah.
can we talk about drifting? I
Yeah,
feel
yeah.
bad. Like I feel these.
I
these are
think-
just
no,
listening
I
to
think because
banter.
these are
or
things-
gals,
Yeah.
dudettes.
That's but the thing is all these stories that you have wound up in your little tiny head.
gosh.
Actually, it's a giant.
I have a
head.
ginormous
It's a
head.
massive- Your headphones are stretched all the way out max.
There's a lot of stories in that.
No, but it's once again it's the stories that are created
Yeah.
over time that end up creating these crazy.
Sounds like
things.
Galaga over here. I like sometimes when it.
8-bit
Yeah.
Brian.
Yourself.
No,
No, it's probably mine.
it's Jared's
Probably mine.
cranking through the gram.
Okay.
No, it's these series that all roll into drifting. Obviously, you could talk about your tattoos.
Yep.
A lot of them are on the road. A lot of them are contributed to being in a certain destination due to drifting. Your flights.
Doo-doo drifting?
Doo-doo drifting. You have a little turd on your arm. I have a turd on my arm with a birthmark.
Duty.
But I think it's all that plays a role in what drifting creates and the opportunities that open up about drifting that, once again, took you a lot of places, and now it's kind of opening this small little passage, a portion of drifting compared to what it is now. But, I think it's all very relative, even
Thank
these
you.
little dumb stories, and obviously the beer. I would never have a beer.
Eat
from that.
local, drink local, get tattooed
Yep.
local. I mean, that's my motto. I mean, I just got a tattoo. I mean, most recently, did not get a tattoo in New Zealand, even though I have a few
Right.
commemorating New Zealand from a traditional like bang, like
Hammer
tap,
and sickle.
tap.
Okay.
No, like bone,
Yeah, yeah.
like boar's bone on my shoulder. I got some birds. I have a wizard on my back
Yep.
to commemorate Lord of the Rings. I have a tiki from Matt Jordan tattoo. If you're into tattoos, Matt Jordan is an amazing tattooer. Moko Inc. did the tap. I can't remember who did the wizard, but he also tattooed Chris Forsberg and I with the Beach Daz whale. Which are you familiar with the?
That's the video.
I'm Beasties. Oh, I'm hate speech.
Oh no, I was thinking about the well crying. The
No, different one. Yeah,
Gotcha.
I did not get that.
There's a
tattooed
couple.
on
I was gonna say there's a
But
couple.
the best part about it is Forsberg got it like on his forearm. So if he doesn't have his suit on, it's like front and center. It's the Beached As whale.
Okay.
Just look up. Go ahead. Take a moment. Look up Beached as
Brian?
whale. So
Beached as whale.
as. So
Beach
that's it. Beached
as
as whale. So he's beach. So
That's a New Zealand thing.
Travel tattoos. Didn't
Okay.
get a tattoo in New Zealand. I say that because the weekend before at Gymkhana Grid, I got
Right.
tattooed in the pits. Right, like it was sick. Like right before the event, like up until I had to work, I had to host a press conference, and I went over there and I got tattooed by Tyler Murphy.
Okay.
Who's in Cape Town, South Africa. He actually tattoos Ninja from Die Antwoord.
Oh,
So do you know who Ninja is?
I know.
Do you know Die
I know
Antwoord?
Ninja
Yeah.
from Fortnite.
Anybody?
It's just all
No, but you know,
I know.
Dice. So he's homeboy. So Tyler Murphy just crushed my tattoo. So I got, yeah, there
Nice.
you go. Have you seen this big balls?
No, I
Oh,
haven't.
okay. So I got a rhino on my like the side
From
of my
him.
knee.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
cool. That's
So, but these are the
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys acknowledging. that.
I met you. Actually, no, I'm obviously knew you for quite some time, but I
Yep.
was there during the discussion of the Papusa Posse.
Were you
Yeah.
in Seattle?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I was.
We met.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was like our official first kind of
Holy crap.
gathering, hanging
On
out
top
because
of
it was
that
you, Matt Petty,
container-
Forsberg, Mitch, and you guys were talking about getting a banger.
Lobster Bear.
Yep.
Lobster Bear was there.
Yep. And so that was the first like moment that was my first time out of state drifting.
Holy cow.
And that was kind of like the first time I saw you
What
guys.
was that track? It's a karting track.
It was
Is it around still?
I don't know. What was that?
Seattle.
For XDC. It was
Yeah. Gosh.
yeah, it was a go-kart track. And that's so going back to tattoos, that was the first that I heard, banger that I heard you guys were kind of plotting and thinking about getting.
And my body was far from.
Oh, yeah, that was
the-
soft, Jared. That was
the pin cushion.
they were like, we need a deeper needle. It's barely cracking the surface.
He doesn't have
It's not
skin.
sticking.
He doesn't
It's
have
not
skin. He has
sticking.
leather.
Bring out grandma's sewing machine and threw some pin ink on it and just
Yeah.
smoking and sparks. No, but anyways, going back to drifting and things like that, it takes everybody to very unique places. You've been obviously very fortunate with drifting, and obviously you have the discussion, drifting ruined my life. It's actually made a lot of people's lives better.
I love it.
You know what I mean?
mean,
And
I mean, I would not have just made the friends that I have had or have.
Right.
R.I.P. No, and R.I.P. I've seen some friends pass away. I mean, just most recently, I was thinking about Sean Carlson, somebody who was definitely instrumental, and even just seeing him grow up in Honda drag racing back in the day. And I saw a couple people's different podcasts having, Steph Papadakis or
Right.
BC Moto, and there's all these Honda dudes. I came from the Honda world, so anyways. Drifting, the 15 years of equity that I have in it, or 15 plus now. I mean, just extending previously to Formula Drift.
Right.
I'm completely thankful for all of it and just the friendships I've made. I mean, just most recently, I mean, I was kind of the lone dad for a while, but now slowly people have come and gone and in and out. And I mean, Sam Hubinette and Reese Millen, I mean, obviously they're dads, but Tyler McCory and now Tony Angelo, and now most recently somebody who's in it is Von Gittin Jr. Seen him have
New
his
dads.
child. Him and Abby having Gunner VG3 as he's been called, VG3.
Yep.
So
well, we talk about this quite often actually on the show, and it's like drifting is young considering it's only been professionally in the United States. It's been around for 15 years.
yeah.
We still are on the first wave of drifters, right? You look.
What do you mean we? You're on the second, bro.
Well, they're still yeah. Take me. But what I'm talking about is like the
I'm
OGs
kidding.
are still the OGs in it, right? You know what I mean? The first wave. Some of the guys that are around are still around. They haven't phased out yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like you look at NASCAR, you look at Supercross. There's generations and legends that are now out of the sport that are giving insight, and new young guys are coming up. That still shows how young our sport is. But I think we're getting to a point now. I'd probably say with now to the next 4 years. We'll have to start the new waves and start coming in. These older guys are going to be looking at other opportunities within the sport that may not be to the driving side, but more the management, team owning, and the second wave. And I think me personally, I think that's when drifting is really going to start taking off. And you know this. You look at dudes like Forsberg, Vaughn,
I mean, even Ken Gucci. I mean, Gucci is a great ambassador for Toyota. I mean, he's found his real great sweet spot with Toyota, and I mean, he was the first Ford drifter. Yeah. He was the first one to put Ford on the podium in drifting. Yep. But now he's just found this great sweet spot with Toyota, as has Osbo. But you know, and Turk. I mean, Toyota is such a great partner of drifting as a whole. I'm looking at different manufacturers. I'm excited to see where the companies are going to go forward.
But look at the opportunities that may present itself, and that's why I think drifting is really going to be banging in the next 3-4 years once these guys decide what they want to do, because everything has a shelf life on it. Drivers have shelf lives as far as when they're going to be performers or be
not announcing.
But that's the thing. As announcing is unlimited. You can look at who's some announcers that you look after or look up to.
I mean, for me, it was Jerry Coleman.
And how long is Jerry Coleman?
I mean, R.I.P. He's dead now.
But how long was he? What was his streak?
I've said it and I'll say it again. He was 90-something years old, but Oh Doctor came from him. That's an homage.
Oh Doctor.
And so there's no shelf life on announcing. You're locked and loaded.
I'm good.
But
as long as you can talk.
But where I'm taking this is
I've gone to ENTs. Sorry.
No. So I was going to say where I'm taking this is you look at where these guys are investing their time currently, and they're investing in their own program. They're investing in their building of the cars and the shops and running it. And this is, you look at Forsberg. I'm going to use Forsberg as an example. That dude does everything.
Does he?
He does a lot.
I mean, Michelle Forsberg does a lot more.
But I'm saying there's a crucial piece of this. You know, that name another professional race team outside of drifting that has two people operating an operation like his.
No,
So imagine,
all joking aside, yes, it's very hands-on compared to other motorsports.
So what I'm thinking is, imagine if Forsberg was okay. So imagine if Forsberg or one of these other guys were just purely in a management role, operating a team, how they would structure it, how much more energy they can put into it without having to do 10 different jobs, and I think then they can start investing into looking at more manufacturers, more sponsors, more people, and as they have their driver. But I think that's when we're going to start feeling the NASCAR wave.
That's a Tony Stewart business model. Right. That's a Stewart Haas. You know, like that's a junior. You know, that's that. I mean, you can only look at the future by looking at your past. And with drifting being so young, I would agree that the next wave is you nurture some young talent. Yep. You see what's going to go on there. Yep. And I think Forsberg has seen utilizing him and his talent. But I mean, even not that Vaughn and Chelsea are that far off, but I think that's where Vaughn can see an opportunity there of management of a team, because I think Vaughn is has quite a following internationally and just has a fairly well structured program, and I mean, just everybody has this. When people outside of the drifting world that are business folks that are very successful, how do I put this? Real quick, hold on. Yeah, when people really analyze and I say, hey, come to the drifting event, and they look at it, some people just really scratch their heads. And again, they're successful people. They scratch their heads. It's, okay, how does what? Okay, well, it's more endorsement based. It's not so much about the victory. Yes, there's some monetary gain about the victory, but it's primarily about the platform that you're given, all the impressions, all the ROI, and here's Formula Drift, here's a revolving door of a sanctioning body. That's Formula Drift as a whole. And I can only speak on Formula Drift's behalf. Right. But people scratch their heads. But it's your opportunity to really emulsify that and take advantage of that. So get these sponsors, do this, do that. Yeah. And Paco, are you here, bud?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking though is it's okay. And once again, I don't want this to come off weird, but it's okay to outgrow drifting. Meaning, let's look at Vaughn for example. It's okay to outgrow the driver position. It's okay to outgrow the driver role to help build and establish it. And I think once that resource of people outgrowing the driver's seat to a larger role is when it's going to boom. Right. And I think that is going to be happening soon, probably within the next 3-4 years, where we're going to start seeing a shift. And hopefully it's going to start shifting with more energy, more resource put back into the sports. Because right now, once again, I still believe we're on the first wave. A lot of new guys are coming in. Hanadel, obviously we mentioned the Sorensen guys, the kids, 15 years old.
Via Tax, we just mentioned publicly, but yeah.
Who else? There's
Brandon
Connor Shanahan might be coming next year.
And once again, now here's the young guns coming in, right? Give them a year or two in FD. People are going to start latching on. And I'm hoping, once again, obviously all of us want longevity for professional drifting, especially Formula Drift and all the other organizations around the world. But I think a lot of other organizations around the world also thrive off the momentum of what FD is doing as well. They kind of have some sort of association. A lot of these larger organizations, I believe, have some sort of associations, and a lot of them either motivate each other or get ideas based off what they're doing.
Right.
Like, it's cool to see Ryan and Jim go out to Europe to see Drift Masters inside a stadium and it's like, I don't think there would be another series that'd bring, I don't know if you consider them a competitor, obviously they're not, but here, come check out what we're doing.
Right.
Maybe this is something you might be able to implement.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really proud of FD and where it's at.
Yeah.
And I had conversations with many different sanctioning body leaders and organizers, and I think that it is kind of the it is the premier sanctioning body, and I'm proud of it. And seeing what happened in New Zealand this weekend, it's a very fun event. It's a bash event, and there's no replays. There's nothing. It was like this guy won, that guy won, and Mike won it that way. I mean, it's Mad Mike Summer Bash, right? But even seeing events like Red Bull Drift Shifters go down, and now there's a different, I mean, you look at Gymkhana Grid, and you look at, that's a different style of car and different style of setup.
Right.
But I mean, there's so much talent out there. There's a lot of opportunity there, and I would just say that there's a lot of noise in the motorsports world right now. Let's look at two wheel. You got outdoor, you got supercross, you got endurocross, you got arena cross, you got motard, you got all these different disciplines, right? Okay, let's just talk two wheel. We got this. Okay, truck, you got best in the desert, you got score, you got Mint 400, you got
go to
short
NHRA
course.
for example.
Holy cow,
you know what
dude!
I mean?
I mean, there's so much noise. So for me, I'm really proud of where drifting's at, because I think there's a unison voice of, let's grow this together. Let's show people that these kids aren't fast and furious.
Right.
They are concise and let's just brand it right there, concise and tight. You know what I mean? That's honestly what you see when you come to a proper drift event. Right. Because I've always said the analogy that I hate getting on the frickin' drift soapbox, but basically I'm proud of it. Anybody listening to this is proud of it, but I'll just say that drifting is parallel to freestyle motocross, because you can go to the state fair and see freestyle motocross, or you can go to Nitro Circus and see that extra, right? Totally but it's still called freestyle motocross.
And you know what's an interesting thing? The biggest difference, and we get a lot of talk about this, like between IDC and Formula Drift and few other organizations. A lot of people have their own kind of either judging criteria or their own way of operation that's still different from one another. And I think the big disconnect is, since every little one is different, we can go back to Forrest Wang and IDC where he lost, and everybody was like, "Oh, Forrest should have won." But the thing is I talked to I believe it was David Egan about this, and one of the judges.
Egan's a great resource.
Yeah, and what they said was, some of the FD platform and the way they operate is different based on our region. The cars are limited, the resources are different, and that's what made me be like, dude, I have never thought about that.
Dude.
And so each organization has to adapt to where their drifting is at that current state, which is very interesting. And I never looked at it that way, because a lot of it was, once again, I'm looking at Formula Drift, the way they operate, the way they jobs, and I'm putting that same.
You only know what you know,
right?
And dude, do you know how many people I run into? They're like, "Yeah, I'm coming." Like, I mean, literally, I'm about to leave Mad Mike's office. I can't remember who I was talking to, but they're like, "Yeah, we're coming over. Which Formula Drift event should I go to?" And they want to compete in FD.
Oh God!
And I'm like, I said, well, I mean, first and foremost, I would say Atlanta.
Right.
Atlanta's my number one.
Yep.
I would say Irwindale, Long Beach. Then we start go Seattle. I mean, But also, you only know what you know because talking to, gosh dang it, I'm trying to think. Again, I have had so many conversations in the last 2 weeks, including barely my wife. But
poor stuff.
Yeah. Which is the fastest? Because in Kiwitown, in New Zealand, they rip. They are so fast. That's how they set it up. That's like their tracks. Like again, get Mad Mike on the phone. He'll just be like, oh, sweetie, is it? Oh, sure. Like it's fast. I'm not trying to make light, but they are just fast tracks.
They're looking for the high speed stuff.
And here is FD where, in my eyes, Seattle, you have to bring all of it. I think Seattle is the most Leatherman track of all of it. You bring out the fork, you bring out the knife, you bring out the toothpick. It gets technical, right? So yeah.
Yeah, and that was kind of the idea. But once again, the awakening moment was you're adapting to the resources based on the area.
Right.
Amount of money that's involved in the industry. It's like, hey, we're a small island, dude.
Mm-hmm.
The amount of local financials we got for this is much different than Formula. We don't have the financial resource as they have reach to a much larger audience. And so that was my biggest learning thing. So now when I look at a series, you look at a series as an individual, not as a comparison to competition X.
Yep.
And so that was one of the biggest things that I kind of took away from this year is like, dude, you got to look at each organization as its own independent organization and not compare it to one another because there's so many moving parts in that makes that series unique to its own.
Yep.
The other thing too is obviously a lot of them are granting licenses now to operate or to drivers to come run an FD.
Yep.
And that's also what's going to shake a lot of things up.
If I don't
this
know
next
somebody,
year.
I'm kind of excited.
Right.
Like, I mean, that's where it's going now.
Yep.
I mean, and not that I'm the end all be all, but
you can be surprised. Like,
yeah, like who's this kid? I mean, I remember seeing Nate Hamilton for the first time. I was like, who is this kid? And that was at XTC.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, even seeing the Sorensens, I was like, wow, who are these shredders?
Yeah.
And like, you know, I mean, even seeing Forrest Wang back in the day, I remember that was a Vegas event where Vaughn actually had to borrow. That was a FD event. He was going to borrow his car. Yeah, he was going to borrow his car back in the day. I'm trying to think of that.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
So yeah, no, I mean, I just have like a collective sigh just being here with you guys. I know we live in Arizona.
Yeah.
I'm proud of Arizona. I love where we're at. Drifting as a whole is again. I talked to Ryan and Jim earlier. We're talking about 2019, and unfortunately, that's it, dude. I'm done.
That's
2018, man. It's my last year announcing Formula Drift.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Paco's filling in for me.
welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Formula Drift 2019. I'm your host, Paco.
I hope that's not
Barra.
true.
You almost panicked.
I was like, I'm like, are you really coming on here and dropping the, like... Yeah, I almost just had a full meltdown.
Did you
right
see
there.
him, Oda? That was good.
Yeah,
Did I totally get it?
Yeah, I totally almost had
That
a full
was good.
meltdown on it. I was like,
You could hear the brakes.
I
in
wouldn't
his
know what
head.
to say. Yeah.
No,
You guys.
I'm back.
Courtney
Yeah,
immediately
I was
looked at me
like-
like,
Well,
is this
let
really
me tell you
happening?
something now. So I'll tell
Oh,
you
he's
something.
like, yes, I'm going to get a job.
No. But I'll tell you something though. Having you on would be it's you're a portion of Formula Drift, right? And I want to bring this up because I remember one of my first year in Formula Drift was like a lot of people look forward to having you specifically announce their name
Really?
at a specific track. And
so
so for
rad.
me, I even had that moment too. I remember what it was. I don't know, Long Beach or no, I think actually my first event was at Atlanta because my car was broken
Yeah.
and this was 2012. But I remember that.
Hate to pick the scab.
Yeah,
but
and it was even
you didn't make it
Dustin.
around one.
Yeah, even so. But Dustin was saying like, "Hey, Jared's telling you something." And like, I remember that because it's like you watch it, you see it, you hear it, and it puts it together. And so when you said that, I was like, "Dude, a lot of people are not going to have that," and that was a very cool moment. So
Wow.
that's why I kind of had a
you
weird
thought of
moment.
others. You thought of others.
Yeah,
when I said
because
I'm
it's
out.
super. Because I bet you've ran into people, and it's like people were, "Oh, that's Jared for Formula Drift," because you have that significance or you have that importance in it that. Once again, it's like I can compare it to UFC. I can compare it to other forms. It's like people are excited to have Bruce Buffer call their
Right.
name, right? It's
Right.
like that is an indicator that you have
Totally.
made it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No.
that was
So-
actually I was gonna say because like the very first time that I kind of like got acknowledged, I would say publicly, it was that round where you were driving in Texas that
Okay.
you guys needed an extra.
Oh,
An extra
an extra
cr-
hand.
Yeah, so
and you were there with Sam.
and I was there with Sam helping, and I ended up joining
Yep.
Corey's team as an additional
Just support, just help.
support on the team. Yeah, and we were walking like after like whatever it was like a break or whatever. We were walking down the aisle towards the grandstands, and you were obviously on your spot, just like watching everything. And like, all right, so we have here. Oh, look at that! There he comes, Corey Hosford, Dustin, and Paco, Tofu Drift. And I was like, oh shit, like he knows me. And I was
Yeah.
like, whoa! I was like I got starstruck for a second. Even though I kind of knew you, but I never
Yeah.
really like.
But these are little things that,
Yeah.
as drivers, and especially greenhorns coming in, it's like these are things you look forward to. You look forward to driving with the biggest names in drifting. You look
Good.
forward to these iconic tracks. You look forward for your name to get called out
Yeah.
on Jared to qualifying, and it's like those three things is what makes you feel you're in the big time. It's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
I'm telling
no,
you, it's weird.
you
But
know-
it is. That's
yeah,
it. That's exactly
to
it.
compartmentalize that. Yeah, I'm definitely part of the equation, and I'm super stoked to just be, just to be
To be
it,
part of the
man.
equation.
Yeah, man. I'm super humbled and thankful for.
Well, you're
for
doing
all of
good,
it.
man. Like I really, I think a lot of people
Getting
don't.
text from my
like
wife.
a lot of people don't
Am I
understand.
doing something dumb?
She's probably watching right now.
No. No, she found a cool jacket for my son.
What do you think?
But
She
yeah, like,
doesn't watch any of my stuff. She like I'd be like, Stephanie, it's over. She didn't like. I'm joking. I love my wife. But, yeah.
but yeah, no, like I guess like a lot of people don't give you enough credit. It takes so much work to memorize the people.
Yeah,
I mean, no. Yeah, it's so for you. It's like it's so easy, but it's not like you have like this notebook full of data and stats and facts about the people that you're talking about. You just have all these because you go and you try to talk to everybody and try to get to know them a little bit more, and then they tell you their story. So then during the half times or like during the down times, you just try to come up with the stuff that you remember, and you memorize like a lot of stuff. Like, oh yeah, look at this guy. And yeah,
I feel like I could do more.
Well, but you do, but you do good. Like you really like come up with like facts and like about the people they're talking. Like where they're from, what kind of engine, who helped them build the car.
Right.
You know. And which, by the way, I have another super chat question.
Yeah,
right here.
please.
Same Aaron Quillis. Jarod, how do you get hooked up with the Gears and Gasoline guys? Great job narrating the Grid Life coverage.
Oh yeah. The Benz, Gears and Gasoline. Grid Life has been a great addition to my life, and Chris Stewart, the chief steward of Stu Studio. The Grid Life. I met Chris Stewart at SEMA a few years ago, and he invited me to partake in it, and I'm glad that he's just taken a liking to me. And Grid Life is just a great addition to automotive culture. It complements what I do, as well as I think it's an amalgamation of the world we live in. It's clash culture. So Gears and Gasoline, the guys that produce the Grid Life track battle videos, you know, Chris said, "Hey, you work together," and I do the voiceover for those videos, and it's awesome. So overall, Grid Life has track battle, and now they've created NATA, the North American Time Attack Association, essentially. Yeah. And so it's again just adding to the diversity of my portfolio. But the Gears and Gasoline guys, which are the Benz, they produce those videos. So,
you get the bends when you drink too much water in Mexico,
and then you come up too fast.
Yeah, whoa, you get scuba diving.
You get oxygen in your bloodstream. That's what the bends is. Did you know that?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's nitrogen narcosis.
Is that what it is?
Yep, that's what it's called.
So you knew more than I did. I'm like, hey, did you know?
It's called the bends.
Look, late breaking news, kid.
Wow, Corey knew something.
Yeah, finally for once. Yeah. Well, if I wasn't to be an announcer on Driftcast, I'd be a dolphin. So that's okay.
So this is Dymaxion from Modern Times Beer.
What is it called?
This is Dymaxion.
Dymaxion.
Modern Times Beer.
I see that in the women's section at
go.
the grocery store.
This is Modern Times for any beer nerds. This is Dymaxion, which is just their basic pale ale. I had the Bedrock earlier, which is that nitro brown with coconut and coffee.
Right, hopefully we get a lot of free.
Usually turns into a pale ale.
Hopefully we get a lot of
sunlight.
free beer for all the shout outs.
Nothing's free.
Dude, I'm sure there's dudes over here that get super stoked on this stuff, huh?
I get.
Do you get stoked on beer pics of like dudes like with super legendary beer? Like,
well, you know what? The whole social media game is like, so my top 9. I found out my top 9. You know, you can find out your top 9 on Instagram.
Oh yeah,
on social media, and I found mine. And like, what's crazy is one of my most recent pictures of Mad Mike is my top 9, which I love Mike,
right.
But like, really, like I post a lot of.
What do you got?
I post a lot of sentimental stuff, and what I'm gonna say here is that I'm sentimental.
Yep.
I'm a dad.
Yep.
I'm a lover of life.
Yep.
I love the people, not so much the things.
Okay.
And
you love beer.
And I love beer.
I like beer.
I like beer.
Still like beer.
Okay. I do love beer.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, you know, there's my top 9. Where's it at? There we go.
Right.
There's my top 9. For those that care to watch
Let me see
but
it real quick. What you got?
It's.
I thought that was a manatee for a second.
It is.
That's us flying in a B-17 bomber.
That's cool.
At
That was
AirVenture.
super
That's
cool, by
Mad
the way.
Mike. That's Christoph's
threw a
back
like on
bumper. I
that.
put Grateful Shred.
Yep.
That's Goodwood.
Okay, threw a like on that.
That's good with James Dean.
Okay, threw a like on
that was actually that was prequel to FD 2018 season.
Cool.
That was my 40th birthday. My kid's giving me breakfast in bed.
Threw a like
Daigo
on
Saito most recently in
Dude, just the vet. Threw a like
Gymkhana
on
Grid. Vaughn jumping his RTR at SEMA,
That's
and
pretty
then
good.
me holding up the
That's
2018
actually
trophy,
some solid top 9s actually.
which is good.
Right.
None of them involving beer. This is an outrage, people.
Why don't you start Beergram?
See, what I'm saying is, none of them are. I mean, I'm stoked that actually the breakfast in bed made the cut, because that's
how much people are inside your life. If you think about it,
which is good. I mean, I get more comments of like, "Oh, I really love your stories," which is good.
Yep.
And I only get like 1,000+ views of a story, which isn't a lot again
but it's
compared
fair.
to a lot.
It's
It's fair,
T-Bone loving the dentist. That was
right? And him picking up the poop. He loves picking up dog poop. That's
cool.
He literally snuck out the dog door to go pick up dog poop.
What a good kid, man.
And he's like, Dad, stop filming me. That was the third take. I did it without him looking. It's like, Dad, he literally, this is for your ears only. He says, Dad, stop filming me. That's weird. Right?
You know, my dad used to tell me when I used to go pick up poop, he's like, all right, it's time for rock patrol. Go out there, patrol, rock patrol. I'm like, fuck, I don't want to pick. And he was using tongs too.
Oh, was
Is that a strategy? Just
T-Bone?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought your dad was.
No. Yeah, here's
no. Corey picks up poop in a thong.
I wear
got
the
it, got it, got it.
tongsandtongs.com is my
Tong
new
and
website where we pick up dog poop and tongs and tongs.
No, it's barbecues and brats. Yeah. I saw a good question earlier on because I troll. I saw somebody said that who would I have a beer with, alive or dead?
Yep. Oh, if you were dead, wow.
Alive or alive.
Oh.
If I was alive or
Or
dead,
dead.
who would I have a beer with?
That's actually
see?
a solid question.
Walt Disney.
Really?
Yeah, Walt
Interesting.
Disney is my
Why? What's the story? Give us the low on that.
I
Why?
think
Out of
Walt-
everybody, that you have a bunch of dead people. You have a bunch of dead presidents. You have a bunch of dead musicians.
Yeah.
You have a lot of people who've done a lot
Walt
of
Disney
shit.
has affected so many people
That's a
alive
good-
and
he absolutely
now
has.
dead. I mean, Disney is synonymous with
Right.
so much culture, so much media. I mean, Disney, Pixar. I mean, talk about amazing storytelling. I mean,
Why would he leak so many penises in Little Mermaid?
he was dead.
He was dead
so-
then. Hey, but wasn't he kind of like a little bit of a Nazi?
He was Nazi's a strong word.
Yeah, I know, but like
he was a
supportive of the German part.
Well, that may be something you discuss a beer over and ask.
actually-
Yeah.
there's a,
actually,
there's
yeah,
a
I mean,
reason
that-
for everything at that point in time.
No, he was not. What the if I could tell anybody a museum that I was thoroughly impressed by, if you ever find yourself in San Francisco, go to Presidio Park and go to the Walt Disney Family Museum, and it's an exquisite story of pre-Walt being born to his death, and it just tells about his successes, his failures, and you might get that, Paco, you might get that misconstrued because the Walt Disney Studio was hired to create war propaganda
yeah,
against
against
the Nazis.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that's what happened.
okay.
So that's,
No, yeah, I was just kind of like
but no, was
Why
lot
would
of,
you
like,
remember that out of
rumors
all
and-
Walt Disney stories, Paco?
Guess
he
that's
did
it.
smoke. He wasn't a perfect gentleman, nor are
Oh,
we.
no, are
But-
we?
But
Yeah.
some of the
but-
most creative dudes aren't always the perfect ones either.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimi Hendrix died choking on his own vomit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Played a
Yeah.
guitar upside down. And,
So Walt
I mean,
Disney.
genius. There's a fine line between genius and crazy. You know.
Yeah, you have people like Albert Einstein too.
Well, that's
that-
who said that actually.
Yeah.
What did
fine
Albert
line for
Einstein
genius.
died of, Corey?
Too much Michelob Ultra.
there you go.
Yeah, see, isn't that right? You got Michelob Ultra
You
drunk
nailed
over,
it.
and
You
just
got
kept
nailed
kicking
it.
it. He got Ultra in the next dimension.
he got
dude.
ultra turked.
Do we have any questions? I feel like
You want to do? You want to do?
Let's spend
Instagram
some, let's
questions
spend some
already?
times and emphasize on them. I think we can just tinker through and do some emphasization. If that's
Cold toilet seat or warm toilet seat?
Who says
cold.
it? Who says it? Who says
Iron
it?
Dookie.
Oh, Iron
Well,
Dick.
okay,
That's
yeah.
fine.
You have to. You have to
He's
address.
standard.
Come on, Jared.
You said cold.
Be professional.
You said cold toilet seat.
Iron Dookie says, "What's worse, cold toilet seat or warm toilet seat?"
What's worse? Did you say?
I would say cold toilet seat.
Really?
Yeah, because
I-
warm means somebody was just like
That's why
sitting
warm.
there,
That's why
like,
it's the
ugh.
worst. Warm is worse than cold.
I've definitely sat on one and I was like thankful, like just some trucker came out. I was like, sick, because there's no shame in my poop game. Like
But wait,
I will go anywhere.
you don't-
And
you don't-
I've S'd in KFC in Tiananmen Square, which sounds like it's like pretty Western, but
Yeah.
no, everything was
a little
wet.
hole in
It was
around.
bad.
You don't.
Yeah.
You don't do an ass gasket.
Oh, I do.
Oh, okay.
Actually,
But
fun
when it's an Eastern toilet and a hole in the ground.
So when me and Dustin actually went to Texas with Forsberg, we stopped at, I think it was a Buc-ee's or something like that.
Yeah, Buc-ee's.
And this was like in the middle of a nowhere's Buc-ee, or it may have been a Love's. It's like I never took a truck stop shower before. I
I'm
purposely
doing
I
it.
hit a truck stop shower before. I made sure to wear flip flops in there, but I'm telling you,
You wear
that-
your socks.
and I came out only wearing socks too,
Trucker flip flop.
looking for truckers. But I'm telling you,
Trucker love.
the shower was as big as this room and had like a bar stool and I'm like, dude, I could sit down. No wonder why truckers
do, like,
hang out here all the
cartwheels.
time.
Cartwheels inside
Have
the
you seen
shower.
that video that dude naked sitting on that like U-bend and he slides across it? That was me in there, dude. I was lying on the ground, soaped up.
So the room was big enough for you and Dustin to shower together.
Oh yeah, dude.
yeah.
It was
They're
plenty.
scissoring.
But
Well,
once
because
again,
you're
no shame
not
in the
gonna
poop
pay for-
game.
you're gonna pay
It's
for
all
2
about
showers.
experiences, right? Sometimes I try to dabble in experiences. Like I don't know if I just do it for experience. And once again, my experience is probably nowhere near yours because I hate going to certain places, and eating certain foods, which you'd probably eat like a fucking dolphin penis on a and just say it's part of the culture. I'm gonna eat it.
Yep.
And me, I'd be like, oh god,
Yeah.
what are you? I wouldn't even sniff it.
I mean, it's not that bad, dolphin penis. It's really not.
It's actually
that
well
bad.
done. Well done.
If you throw enough soy sauce on it, it's like calamari. So, do we rattle off things?
I say we emphasize on. I know we never did like a full emphasis on the stories on why you respond that way, which is in pick another one real quick, and then we'll just keep talking about drifting. Let's do another one.
I enjoy it. There was one that I just saw, which I thought was actually pretty thorough, and it was talking about drivers. This is Mr. Taco to you.
Okay.
With meeting, I like how he said meeting. He said MEATING, not double ET.
Okay, good.
With meeting so many other drivers through announcing other motorsports, what drivers would you put up against the current veterans of the 2018 season? I would just say like short course truck dudes are pretty like they're pretty privy on getting the posture of cars,
car control,
getting them
getting
to rotate.
comfortable with it.
I would say short course drivers.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'd like to see like Casey Curry, Jeremy McGrath, Deegan, RJ Anderson. I'd love to see like Rob McCachran drive.
Oh, dude, throwback, old school.
McCachran, Ricky Johnson, RJ. FYI, when I grow up, I want to be Ricky Johnson.
When you grow up, you want to be Mickey Johnson?
Ricky Johnson.
Thinking, I'm so Walt Disney.
Sorry. I want to be Ricky Johnson.
And
no, that's it. Do you know Ricky Johnson?
Off-road dude.
Yeah. I mean, 2-wheel.
Right.
And then went 4-wheel. And yeah. I mean, I love the Johnson. So, anyways, I would say if you're driving loose, you know how to drive a car.
Okay. How's your car control skills?
Terrible. Terrible. I need to drive more. I'd love to build a car. So if anybody out there wants to build a project car, I have a guy.
Hey,
me and my boy Jeremy Bay, Jay Bay, any old school snowboarders
He's
out
the dude
there.
who makes all the Transformers movies, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Good.
Yeah, Jeremy Michael Bay. That's it. Jeremy Bay lives in Troy, New York, and he has a shop called 1945 Speed and Custom.
Okay.
He has a Ford-powered FCRX-7, and that's what I want to build. I want to build an FCRX-7
I love those.
with a Ford power plant.
Yep.
So I've gone on record a couple times about saying this, but I work enough with Ford, but I've always loved the FC power plant or the FC body, the body style, and I want to make it in the old school El Camino truck.
There's a big relationship
like El
between
Caminos.
Ford and Mazda, so it makes sense.
There
to put
used to be, not so much anymore.
But still, I mean, there's a legacy.
All right.
Sure.
So here's a drifting question. A lot of people, once again, this is like the common thing that people say is, man, this was the best year of drifting. Man, this was the best year of drifting. What year for Formula Drift? What year do you believe was the best year for drifting? And it's not based off of growth. It's based off of the overall show. It could be anything, but it's just, what do you think was the most iconic year so far in drifting?
Wow. I mean, that's a great question. I'd have to look back at it again. A lot of it blends together because only reason I say that because we have been going to Atlanta for 15 years. We have been going to Irwindale for 15 years. Those tracks are iconic in my mind. So we kind of, I don't say bookend it, but I would say the first and the last, man. I mean, because the first year was so iconic, and I'm not perfect, nor the drivers, and the drivers have progressed equally as my announcing has progressed. Yep. If you notice, I don't say I don't say
Nope.
I minimize my mistakes, and just like the drivers, we've all progressed. So where we're at now, you have to respect the roots. And I hate the saying good old days. So Hachirokus are cool, S13s are cool, but there's a time and a place, and progression needs to happen.
Yeah.
And you can say like, man, I remember when. You sound like an old dude that doesn't understand the mumble rap. You have to understand and respect the mumble rap because there's a lot of kids that follow that.
Right.
So you can be into Hall & Oates and be like, I remember when, but understand that little whatever.
Kill it.
Yeah, like I don't even know what.
That's interesting.
Like, where's the avocados? Like, what's that chick's name? Like, she's the hot shit right now.
Is she? Yeah, I've seen a lot.
So I mean, I'm more of a lyrical based guy, but Rex Orange County. If you watch any of my Instagram stories, loving is easy. Like there, I hate the saying "good old days" because today is a good old day, and I've said it before. I'll say it again. Make today a good old day because tomorrow. Again, it'll
be good too.
This is Dad talking here. Hey. Grab a seat.
No.
Grab a knee, guys. Grab a knee. Take off your helmets.
Well,
all right, so
listen up,
Coach DeAnda here says, today's a good old day. Tomorrow is another day. Today is tomorrow. Today.
Today's gone.
I would be the confused dad.
Yesterday. Nope. No more.
But Papa.
Shut your face, Paco.
Papa, yesterday you said the same.
Sam, don't try to mimic Sam. He is not here. He's in spirit. Rest in peace, Sam. Remember I killed him? You made me a meal. Shut up, Paco. You make me some paella, you fat son of a...
Yeah. So, Drift Dad Jared. Okay, here's this. Here's another question. What driver is retired now that you'd want back?
Ooh, great question. Really good question, Tanner Faust.
Really?
Yeah.
So what did you think about his performance in the Passat?
In the what?
In the Passat, the V-Dub.
Did anybody else hear a B? What he said?
In the Passat. Well, Papa's wearing off on me.
Yeah, I know. Gosh, dang.
Papa,
no,
Passat.
I hate to be knee jerk about that. I'd love to see Casper Canoel come back. I miss Casper Canoel.
That's throwback.
There's Conrad Grunwald.
Conrad was
McQuarrie.
Yeah, Tyler McQuarrie.
I mean,
Yeah,
obviously,
Sam and Reese are great.
Obviously,
but they're old.
Obviously, June Mang. I mean, that's out of the question.
Yeah,
he's back.
Love June. He's
But
coming back,
so do you think some of those older
No.
guys could come back and be a force in current state of drifting?
There's only one force.
And he's got the win.
Chris Forsberg gets the win.
It's the win.
But do you think? Well, the thing is, okay. So go back. You talk about the old days. You talk about the Hachirokus.
I didn't. I said that's a good old day. Let's go.
Okay.
Let's move on.
No, but it's like we obviously once again 15 years.
No,
not very long time.
I
The
get it.
sport has progressed so much, and could people keep up in modern times for
Most
coming
definitely.
from? You think
Most
so?
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they can. I mean, the driving prowess. Whoa,
Come on,
What are you-
Gangnam Style.
Gangnam Style right now.
Yeah.
I think that Sam and Reese,
Right.
Greg Tracy, Rich Rutherford,
Sam Hubinet.
those guys are doing stunt driving in films, and they're crushing it.
Matt Powers.
Tony Broccoli,
Yeah,
and now Matt Powers now.
he was the shit.
No.
Dude, but whatever he did worked for him.
I
sure.
love Matt.
Yeah.
I love Matt super hard.
Right.
But no,
You don't think so? What?
I'm totally
Yeah,
joking.
gotcha.
I'm messing with him.
I was gonna say because Matt has had some standout moments, but I also think he also brought a very unique, creative character into drifting, which also helped propel the sport. as well.
By the way, before I forget, look up Momentum Generation.
Okay.
Right, Momentum Generation.
Okay.
Is the I told Ryan and Jim about it, and Ryan's really big into surfing. I just want to make sure.
I'm gonna
yeah.
take that a moment.
Momentum Generation.
Okay.
Whoa.
It's a documentary on HBO, and it features basically the 90s
Kelly
surfer.
Slater, Shane Doran, Taylor Knox, Rob Machado, Pat O'Connell.
Paco
Russ
doesn't know who any of
Williams.
them are. He's just reading names off of.
I know half of these guys.
You know
Slater-
AC
you know-
Slater, not Kelly Slater.
AC Slater.
You know
Yeah.
Slater Machado, but I watched it last night. It just debuted on HBO.
Okay.
And
Sick.
I watched it last night, and it's
good.
I think there's a strong.
It's Nar.
I think there's a strong correlation between drifting and surfing on what happened there.
Okay.
You know
I'm not a surfing
I'll-
guy, so you got to kind of.
Yeah, it's basically it's the real. It's Australia versus USA.
Okay.
And then there's these American cats that live on the North Shore, and they really come up really hard.
Yep.
And they're supporting each other.
Okay.
And there's just a lot of love, and there's
Right.
a lot of affinity, and there's just a lot of like motivation, and
Mm-hmm.
and I think there's a unison voice of building surfing
Right.
comparable to building drifting. And
Correct.
you know, you're gonna have and I'm sure there's other people's that are unsung stories.
Right.
But watch it.
Okay.
Watch it.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to like surfing, skateboarding.
I always think drifting is more like vert skateboarding than any skateboarding.
Yeah. Okay. It's more
Because you have those parameters.
Yeah,
because
it's
drifting has a track. It's judged. Vert skateboarding, you have your parameters.
Yeah.
It's judged. Because street skateboarding and freestyle.
Everybody's like, it's like figure skating.
Well, I know.
it's a good comparison. I agree. It's just in figure skating you don't do battles.
I get the analogy, but it's like you look at the audience. It's like I've never seen ice skating. I'm just as confused as knowing what drifting is. I never watced an ice skating thing before.
And that's why it's so similar.
But then you watch Iton and you're like, yeah, it's like figure skating.
It's like Blades of Glory. I've seen that. Yeah.
Toe pick.
But what I can see based off the relationship, and I think this is the very unique thing about
Get your new Maximum Driftcast
Oh,
stickers. Catch them now.
Yeah. What I think the unique thing is about drifting is that, once again, you mentioned the camaraderie. And being in other forms of motorsports, it's like you can go to a NASCAR, even like a Supercross event. It's like, hey, dude, can I borrow your dirt bike? I want to try to make the LCQs. That'd be like, oh, hey, you're an idiot for even asking. But, and it's like we can go back to drifting,
Dude,
where it was like Mad Mike in New Jersey.
Watch this.
And
watch this documentary.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
watch this. Momentum Generation. It's on HBO.
Isn't that the cool thing about having the
Robert
sport?
Redford is a executive producer, so he taffed it. He put his thumbprint on it.
All right,
Not that he's in a surfing, but
everybody who's listening, you guys have homework. Go watch Momentum Generation.
Yeah.
There's gonna be a quiz next year.
Yeah.
We're
next
only
year.
we're only 3 weeks away.
I was like, wow. You're giving a lot of leeway.
After next season,
There's gonna be a quiz. And
You're wittier than me. Finally, Paco.
I mean,
only took him.
We've been doing this for 3 years.
I can't believe it's been 3 years either.
It's been
3 years. When's the anniversary?
It's been a while. March.
Yeah, I think it was March
is
1st.
anniversary.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. God.
So watch that, and I think there's a lot of parables to what's going on. So to go back to your question, who do we bring back from the dead? You know, I love Tanner. I love Reese. I mean, I want to go to Reese's dad's spot. I want to go Leadfoot Festival in New Zealand. Sam, I mean, he's busy making these perfect little blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies. And drifting Lamborghinis. So I don't want to occupy any more of his time.
Corey's only making brown babies.
Cool thing is drifting took him there. I don't want to give him, but you know what I mean? It's like you look at the opportunities, door open, you step up or you get out.
I mean, I would say, you asked that to Reese. Have we ever had Reese on this thing? Next time Reese comes to Arizona, he is coming here.
Yeah, I would love to have
him.
him
Let's get Reese on let's call it. Do we call Reese Mellon?
God.
Just
we're not going to call him.
Yeah, because we're
But
live.
that would be.
Reese should be on this.
So we had a lot of questions actually.
Reese, Sam, has Tanner been on here?
No.
Tanner,
What?
Sam, Tanner.
We had Tanner.
But
We had
I'll tell you,
Mad Mike.
So we
need a champions next. So leading up next
we're
year.
gonna need a bigger
big balls.
studio.
These are you focused?
I'm listening.
We'll do that. Hold on. We
these-
need you to orchestrate that because for the third year of Maximum Driftcast, it's the Jarod DeAnda Championship
Okay.
Champion Cast or whatever, right?
Okay.
And it's going to be
hosted
orchestrated.
by-
We'll do what we did before, where it's like, hey, we got 15 minutes for each guys, which usually those guys probably only last like
Sick.
15 minutes.
Perfect.
And we could do pool cast at Jared's
with
house, and we'll do the Champions Cast.
I'm
Boom.
down.
3 15-minute
Can we do
segments.
this?
Done.
Yeah, done deal. Well,
Sam, this happened without you. Later, turd.
That was a
so
nice
that would actually
Eiffel
be really
Tower right
awesome
there.
because we have so obviously Lexi's bailed the past few times, but what we've had people asking
Too soon.
is what they've been asking is why don't you bring in people that have been in and out of the sport? Why don't you bring in people that have been successful in the sport and exited, and why don't you bring in people that have not been successful in the sport and exited, and just see what caused either the success or what has potentially caused their failure.
Where's Bonnarott?
Where's Bonnarott?
He did.
Oh, God.
James.
Well,
James, where's James
Yeah,
at?
dude. Last time I heard he rode his bike to SEMA from Phoenix. So
Where's James?
What a trooper.
James-
No, but I think there's a couple people, and you of all the people have seen every foot that came in the door, and everybody that has stepped out, if they left on a high note or they left on a bad note. You've seen every single person. You've seen them exit with smiles. You've seen them exit with a bad taste in their mouth.
Yeah, far from.
But once again, the question is what creates the good taste and what creates the bad taste.
Right.
You got to find out what recipe did those guys eat.
Right.
Burritos
down the street. There's a pupuseria down the street. There's a pupuseria down the street of Irwindale that has these beer mugs that are arms flexing. The handles are arms flexing. We stole
Dude,
them.
look at that meat pie.
Yeah.
You can only see fist punches.
Yeah.
It's on my side. You can see it on my side. There you go.
All right, okay, so hold on. I got another question. Jared, this is my other question for you.
Did you guys lean these out so you look skinnier?
Yeah, I've actually been sucking in this whole freaking. I'm actually wearing one of those like the girdles right now, so my tits probably look massive.
Oh, sweet dumpers.
Nice juggulies. What does it take for a new guy to come into the sport and be successful?
Come on, is this every Facebook message and DM that you've received?
No.
Are you?
Hey,
wait, do you have a code name?
No. I think I messaged you. Yeah,
FYI, if you're an aspiring drifter, do not DM or message a pro drifter saying, "I want to be a pro drifter. How do I do it?"
Okay, but I hear.
No,
hold on. Listen. I think
Got
your
it.
answer may have changed from the first years of drifting to be successful to the current state in order to become successful.
All right, fair.
So
It
that is
evolved.
so. I
The
think
recipe
as the
changed.
sports evolved, as I'm sure your answers would evolve over
What's
time.
the percentage of listeners that actually aspire to be a pro drifter? Because I think that has actually drastically minimized as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like who out there wants to be a pro drifter? Like put a poll up on Maximum
We should
Driftcast.
actually.
Okay, so do that.
You wanna put a poll.
Say like trophy or beer in the hand, right? Like
Right.
who wants to be a pro drifter? Who doesn't? Because I think when I step into
Can you create that poll real quick, Paco?
Right now?
Yeah, just create it right now.
Where?
I think
On Facebook. Takes 2 seconds.
Facebook
Oh,
or
like
Instagram.
on the group?
We'll do
Yeah.
it. We'll do it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, wait till maybe this posts and actually because I think you'll gain
Yeah,
more
I'll
traction.
let at the end
So
of this.
because when you go into a Pro-Am or a Pro 2 event, I think there's some dudes that just want to be there for the party, want to be there for the driving,
Yep.
and know that realistically they don't have a time commitment, they don't have
Yep.
the budget, they don't have the aspirations or the resources to really put it together and become a pro drifter. Because because the access to entry of drifting, you could be a pro drifter in 3 years
Yeah.
if you're good.
Yeah, absolutely. You can be
1,
pro
2,
1 in
3.
3 years. Yep.
So other motorsports, it's a lot longer. A lot longer.
Yep.
So
Agreed.
But this is getting the license.
Well, no.
Yeah, that's-
First year's pro am, second year's pro 2, third year's pro 1. So
Is Pro 2 considered pro?
no, well, and to some degree,
At
but
some
to be a
point?
pro drifter,
So be
people
pro.
aspire to be
Okay.
pro
Yeah.
1 against the
So
top
at
dogs.
least it takes it. Yeah.
3 years to
3
be pro
years.
1, which is the pinnacle. Pro 1 is the pinnacle.
Yeah.
Pro 2, stage 2,
And that means running one whole year of pro.
It just anything.
Because I've seen a lot of people who call themselves pros when they haven't been there
Well,
yet,
the-
just
here- so
because they
here's-
got the
so
license. So
the-
I think
a technical. Okay, so
holding the license. I mean, you're allowed to, but
here's
I
a
think it still
technicality.
takes,
Pro driving is somebody actually creating profit or making an
Being
income
paid-
off of
being paid for
doing
driving.
X.
Yes,
that's
exactly.
technically that's pro driving. Is
I would say
But there's-
I would say holding a license and you turn and burn on a Formula Drift track. I mean, Pro 2 and Pro. I would categorize that because referencing skateboarding,
Right.
You're not pro unless you have a piece of wood with your name on it.
Okay.
That's being a pro.
Yeah.
Okay. The snowboarding.
You have your own
having
brand.
your own snowboard.
You have your own.
No.
yeah.
Literally, skateboarding.
Yeah.
Is you're pro when a company takes you on and you have a piece of wood.
But that
with
means
your
you can
name
be
on it.
anywhere. That means you can be skating street. You can be skating vert.
That's what.
So-
Again,
So-
regardless, I'm just saying pro. So from a pro standpoint, and
Right.
it could be IDC, BDC, this, that, and the other thing.
Right. Yeah.
So holding that license of any sanctioning body.
Okay.
That, I mean, for me, I think there's that great union of IDC,
Right.
BDC, Drift Masters.
Drift games now.
and-
Did you see that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. IDC is no more.
Yeah,
turned into
IDC
Drift
is no
games.
more.
So IDC is gone.
Gone.
So it's Drift Games.
Yep. So
But it's
we
bigger.
can get into
We'll
that
get
later,
there.
but yeah, it's pretty cool. David
Was this
Egan's-
announced?
today? Just
Yeah,
today.
today.
David Egan put out a good post.
Oh, because
about it.
Egan's working with Drift Masters.
It seems like there's a lot going on. They're
Yes,
gonna release
Egan works.
There's gonna be updates.
FYI, I have not been to Ireland, and Ireland is top of the list that I need to visit.
You
so
Yep.
I'd love to be there.
David Egan,
Just
you're
FYI.
listening.
So
Well, not
so
not-
okay, we
it's
considered
better now.
okay. So pro's a pro, and then the question was, what does it take to be successful in the current state of drifting?
I would say that you need to win before. You need to win before you show up.
Okay.
I think there's way too many resources for you to just come in and say I'm the best drifter there. It's not about being the best drifter. Of course, your car will look better atop the podium and holding the trophy. But all things considered, you really need to deliver on all of your responsibilities and companies and all of these things, man, because you're not doing it alone. And I hate the term self-made as well, because even if you are an artist, you still are contingent on people, unless you're a real starving artist and you're Jean-Michel Basquiat, you know, and you die at a young age and you made art for purely the art form.
Right.
You know, many artists didn't realize their wealth because they never saw that, because their art sold for more when they were dead. But self-made doesn't exist. You have a team. You have all these components.
Okay.
If it's sponsors, if it's sanctioning bodies, if it's the tafting of this and that, and you have many people that endorse you.
Right.
You need to win before you show up. And then how
fair.
do you deliver? What's your ROI? I think, I mean, there's a constant education of, here we are on a podcast. Here we are streaming live. Here's this. And here's a 40-year-old guy telling you this, and I'm still learning about it every day.
Yeah.
And I think you guys are as well.
Oh, 100%.
Right? Would I agree? I mean, what's
I
next?
think
What's next?
Well, I think that's what partially started this, is because there's still so many things that are growing and changing every single day that we were just purely interested in how much this thing moves and shakes. It's not ever sitting still, and so it's either you have to keep up with the movements of what the sport's actually doing.
I mean, look at your car. I mean, you know, you've built your car, and I mean, you look at, you know, your Instagram, and of course you can't ignore that you have a 240 SX.
Right. Yeah, that's all I have.
I'm joking.
Yeah, no.
But what I'm saying here is an evolution of what you accomplished to set out, what's going on, where the car is at now, and where your contentment is at. Because, you know, here, you know, here's me, here's Paco, here's Big Balls, and everybody has like this different perspective on contentment.
So and I think that's a great point, because now more so than ever, there's more opportunities in drifting as a whole. Drifting may not always be Formula Drift. Drifting may not just be a Pro-Am. Drifting may not always be grid life, but now we have options as drivers or enthusiasts to say, wow, I have 3 things to pick from.
There's some for everybody.
What avenue I want to go down. When before this, it's like cookie cutter. You have one line to go down and that's it. And now it's...
Dude, it's insane. I mean, the opportunity of just online is profound. And, you know, again, me just coming from 2 amazing events. Mad Mike Summer Bash, Gymkhana Grid, wrapping up 8 rounds of Formula Drift. Looking at, you know, I mean, I'm stoked to do other obscure events like Red Bull Crashed Ice. Like, who'd have thunk that we're gonna have these skaters go down this roller coaster of a track inside Fenway Park? The overall progression of where we're at right now. I mean, you're looking at your phone, you're seeing what's going on with live stream. What's you know, I mean, it's ridiculous.
It's so vast. Like it's like, what's the next thing? What's the next thing that's gonna come up and gonna take over? And it seems like there's no limit. There's just as long as people wants to keep watching this and attending. I mean, we just saw this. We had our Desert Mayhem event last weekend.
Yeah,
it was insane. Like, and it was literally just, you know,
thrash and bash.
50 selected drivers, local drivers, 3 guest drivers, and everybody, you know, they were heroes. Everybody was just throwing down so hard, and all the people was watching. I mean, I'm sure like there's people they don't even know what drifting is, but they just get to see something that just looks exciting, and they're like, "Whoa, do you see that guy? Like he broke the flag with his wing, you know, and like there's like pieces of his car, and he just keeps going. Like he crashed and he just keeps going."
So okay. So with that being said, what do you think is the biggest? Why do people not succeed in professional drifting? What do you believe is the reason for people not being able to have the longevity that Forsberg or Turk or Vaughn has? Take out the fact that they're the OGs in it, but what is what is the recipe for longevity?
I would say that it's an acceptance of you might not win on the track, but you have to win off the track. And that's why I say you have to win before you show up. So it's all the deliverables of your sponsors. It's making yourself I again, the other word, the word again comes to my mind is contentment. Contentment that your cup is full, that your sponsor's cup is full, that you are delivering a solid package.
Yeah. No,
That's it, man. I don't know.
yeah, but
Yeah.
because the thing is, I think,
Does that
like
sound like super obscure and profound?
No,
or
but
do,
I
do
think-
you understand that?
I think
Balls, what do you say?
No, I follow what he's saying, but something I keep thinking about while you're having this discussion is there is a buddy of mine, Mike Burns. He said in an interview once that one of the things that made drifting so attractive for a lot of drivers is the tangibility to be able to be door to door with the very best in the country. Whereas, like, say, other sports like the top 3 ball sports, the odds of you playing against the top of the top pro national players is very, very minuscule. To be on the same team with them, even. But
I wouldn't even make it to first base.
So-
or I'd slide into home and my pants would be full of foam.
But when you get to drifting and that progress as a driver grows high enough, you're going to be in areas where you're going to be door to door with like the best of the best in the entire country, and that tangibility, that opportunity, is really attractive.
And a lot of the drift culture comes from action sports, and Burns comes from BMX too. So like, you look, So you look at these cats, and they have aspirations of maybe being a pro BMXer or watching X Games or Gravity Games if you're old enough. You're watching Dew Tour, and now here you are, boom, you're riding next to whomever, fill in the blank.
The guy you saw on TV or you read about on social media, now you're shaking hands with him and going
That's
door to door with him.
that's one of the coolest things about drifting, for sure, that it's so approachable. Even the fact that when you go to professional drifting, you're allowed to walk on the pits and like shake the hands of the actual drivers. You don't see this on NASCAR or on F1, like,
You do see an NHRA.
Yeah.
You do see an NHRA. I will give NHRA that, and that's kind of complimentary with the price of admission. But what?
No, yeah, I mean, like, no, it's
I'm getting stuck out there.
That's fine.
So the access to entry is just what really blows my mind, and I mean, I feel like I talk a lot about drifting and like drifting Dalai Lama or whatever, but it's just. I'm just trying for people to understand what's going on even in my head with the whole culture of it all.
Well, here's a super chat question from from Matt Hill.
Hill.
How do I be so cool like you?
Man, that's a real hard question, man. Get 40 years old, get some tattoos, have a wife that is very supportive of what you do. She works in the automotive industry as well.
I think I have an answer.
Yeah,
and because this is how I see you performing at events.
Yeah,
and it's like, it's very cliche. You see these on like Facebook memes and motivationals, but it's literally do what you love, and you will never have to work a day in your life.
right.
And that's pretty much
That's
like
good.
Like you're doing what you want to do.
Like
your job, it's literally go to have fun.
And I mean, I have stressors. I'm not exactly the most perfect guy, and my wife and I, we have it out, but we don't fight. We argue, and we love just as much as we argue.
Yep.
As hard as we argue, and all I can say is that this isn't my first rodeo, man. Again, this is my 21st SEMA show. I grew up street racing in San Diego. I worked at a shop. I worked at Modifiers, the toys. I worked at Gumball 3000. I worked at Speedwell Footwear. I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car. All of these things contribute to my life, and it's getting a little therapeutic right now. But the quick answer: drink more beer and kick a little ass. You know what I mean?
And I'm running out of beer.
Looks like I'm running out of beer.
Pac gets punched in the
Party
neck.
at the Moon Tower.
That's
Bam!
why.
Oh shoot! There's a cider here.
Sorry, I take that back. I take that back.
Hey, any? I want to rattle off questions. I always feel like
All right.
I feel like we don't. Can I just rip through like the questions?
I have
on
one
there?
right here from 2beat85.
2BD5.
What's the best thing at cider course? Finally making it to that side of town this weekend.
The Pineapple Tehachapi Cider Core is a veteran-owned. It's Josh and Jason, two great brothers from Kansas Mesa, Arizona, downtown, Robinson and Main Street, across the street from Worth Takeaway, best chicken sandwich, best food. Dude, go down there. If you live in Arizona, Cider Corp.
Cider Corp.
CORPS. It's Cider Corps.
Cider
like
Corps.
Marine Corps. No, like Marine Corps. Go see the dudes. Tell them you know Jarod. You listen to Maximum Driftcast. They have no idea what you're talking about, but they'll be stoked. The pineapple Tehachapi, I think it's called. They had it was like a smoked pineapple jammer.
Like the Apache.
Yeah. Well, everything's like Marine oriented
Nice.
or
Yeah.
Military based.
Military.
Kyle Cross. I'm not sure if I would be where I'm at currently if it wasn't for me. Oh, wow. That's nice of you. Thanks, Kyle Cross. Just watched to chime in and the best party episode. Everyone Corey. Why is one of you hear everything?
You sound like the Micro Machine guy.
What are we auctioning
Why did
here?
not guys cancel?
So-
Did you also send it when you're forwarding an email? No.
have
When's
one.
the best thing at a Cider Core? Okay, got that one.
have
Hell yeah,
one.
I'm stoked for this. There's about to be a good dialogue. No, sorry. Jeff's not
Jared,
here.
Jared.
If it's not live from this pool, I don't care. If you could have
that's
some beers
true.
with anyone, alive or dead, I told you Walt Disney. If the real Jared shotgun a beer, all right, well, hold on. Are you excited for your son, Gap Puddin, to be back in FD? Yes. Do Tyson Bravo and Parker Jet talk half as much as the dad? Definitely not. Would you rather fight 3 anacondas or 1 mountain lion? 3 anacondas, definitely. Are you going to start drifting again? And so what are you going to build? FC, I told you. Do you think we should measure flights, beers, drank, or distance? Ooh.
Hold on.
Flights by beers drank or distance beers drank? That would be farther than 3,000. Let's try this again. How many DeAndas could Jarod DeAnda Jarod if Jarod DeAnda could Jarod DeAndas?
Wow.
3.
With meeting someone, I told you that one. Is announcing better than driving? Ask Ryan Turk and Chris Forsberg. Do you think Red Bull Crash Dice should have a goalie-only race? They do have one. Kia Ora, Jarod DeAnda's, how shit was your first taste of God's Nectar Double Brown? Had a Double Brown down there in New Zealand. It was awesome. Yeah, nah. I'm just kidding. Sure, bro. Double Brown was actually not that bad down in New Zealand. Out of all the current FD drivers, who'd you watch or who'd you have a ride along with at which track? Ooh. I would have a ride along with Reese Millen in the GTO in Atlanta.
Really?
Yep.
There you go.
I would. Reese Millen in the Genesis Coupe at Irwindale where he had the 99-point run.
Good call, Paco.
I was going to say Reese Millen on the mid-engine Genesis at Pikes Peak.
That's not an FD event.
I know it's not an FD event.
That's
but,
good. That's fair.
But
An
that
FD
has
driver at an FD.
that has to be like
Okay,
the most
any car, any track. Go.
any car on the track.
Ayrton Senna.
No,
No.
Reverse
No,
cowboy.
I would,
No. Was that a line lock?
Yeah.
no, I would say Juan Pablo Montoya.
Oh yeah.
Fast-
you're
fast-
when he
you're a
hit
big
the
JBM
when he
fan.
hit the sweeper.
And the-
Did you remember that? Where he's in the NASCAR
Yeah.
and hit the sweeper.
Yeah.
No, but I'm
so
talking
hold on,
about
wait,
I'm talking about Juan Pablo Montoya on F1.
Okay.
He still holds the fastest
BMW.
lap on
where?
Suzuka.
Silverstone, Brian? I think so.
I don't know.
Silverstone.
He's like, don't go to me.
Brian's
don't go
like,
to me.
who's Juan Momlo? Hold on. Talking about unique cars. 767.
Yeah, the Mazda.
The loudest car I've ever heard in my entire life.
Yeah. See that? Would you consider that probably one of the most iconic cars, or? Well, hold on. Let's break this down a little bit more now.
Yeah.
How?
Good question.
So,
Monza.
So hold on.
Monza, by the way.
Okay.
Juan Pablo Montoya, Monza.
Okay. Cool.
Okay.
Got it.
Oh, you looked it up.
767B. Mike.
Still hold
Still,
it?
yeah.
Okay. 767B was at Mad Mike's shop.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was sick, by the way.
And that's when I timed it after you landed. You got there. You went to Misa. Okay.
that car is legendary.
Okay. But
I
so what
literally went straight from the airport to the track.
So as soon as they got there, Mike gets on Instagram and is like blown away.
Yeah.
Right. How was his reaction to seeing that? Has he seen it before? Has he? Obviously, he said that was a car that kind of resonated with him. He gave it to Hoover's shop, and he has a whole collection of 767 stuff.
All right.
So, what was that moment like being there with Mike with that car being in the shop?
So,
It's got chills.
wow, really?
Yeah, dude, that car
Why?
is legendary.
I mean,
it sounds like heaven. It's just like
It's so with. I mean, I saw the car at Goodwood. I've seen that car before.
Which I looked
But-
at price. It's estimated over $2 million. For
Yeah,
the car.
yeah.
And I
it's
think
$2 million.
that's cheap.
So,
Yeah.
but it's an iconic car.
Uh-huh.
So to answer your question, I will say that being there with Mike and being in his garage, I think that was like a cool moment because for him, he's just like it's intimate. It's not like it's like the meet and greet at a concert. Like I don't know who you're into, Nickelback or Creed.
Yeah.
I don't know who you. I don't know,
nailed it.
who's the She Bangs guy? The Ricky Martin.
Ricky Martin.
I know you just
Yeah.
went through.
Well, I'm a
but
big
no,
fan of
I
Gangnam
actually,
Style.
but the
course, a big
Asian guy
fish.
that sang in American Idol, that
Right.
guy, not Will I Am.
Clay Aiken.
Yeah, Clay Aiken.
I'd
Ruben
be-
Studdard. Ruben Studdard.
I'd be starstruck.
They're on
for sure.
Broadway. Actually, I saw
Are
them
they?
this morning on
I would-
on Kelly and
I'd be
Hoda.
starstruck if Clay Aiken walked in this room right now.
I love how I said I dropped Kelly and Hoda, by the way, because that's how old I am. Anyways, so
Yeah.
so back to Mike. Him being there and filming it and documenting it was awesome. I will tell you, I'm going to put Mike on blast here.
Yeah.
At the end and the culmination of Mad Mike's Summer Bash, we're out on the track, and we're giving away some trophies. And Mike gives away the Mad Mike Summer Bash Spirit of Summer Bash trophy, and he gave it to the I don't recall his name, who owns the car, but basically he gave it to them. But prior to that, Mike says, I want to give this trophy to this car and these people, and just as a choked up. Mike's choked up, man. And I had to like, I know, man, I get it. Like you're feeling, I cut him off just to make sure he was full on emotional.
Wow.
Dude.
And I'm stoked for him because that's a moment.
Dude, I mean, I get it. Like last weekend at Desert Mayhem, I choked up giving a trophy to Team Overstyle for best
Yeah,
stand.
great analogy, Paco.
What?
I'm just saying. I mean, like I just thought I was like, these guys are killing it. I mean, if I was to give the trophy
It's a terrible parable.
for like the 787B car, I mean, I'd probably piss my pants, shit myself.
You literally got choked up giving a trophy last weekend.
I did. Like
Really?
I was like a team over drift, and they're like right there. Like I just like made a fool of myself.
But what
Team
caused that
Why?
moment?
Uh,
What caused that moment?
just
Why?
nervousness. Just nervousness.
Oh, I don't think this is nervousness.
I know, but the nervousness of awarding such something so it's a big significance
Yeah.
to Mad Mike, because Mad Mike is known for like the rotary everything.
So
this
think
car
about
is,
okay, who's your idol? Pick. Let's say Billy Idol. Let's say Billy Idol.
Billy Idol is
Okay,
my idol.
Okay, Billy Idol is your idol. Can you imagine announcing and you present a trophy to
Exactly.
Billy Idol?
Yeah,
So
I will
that's
choke.
obviously much different than Desert Mayhem.
I know, but
look
hey,
at this,
I
so
was
the
just
story
trying- I
that's
was just trying-
culminating.
Okay, well, no, I was just trying to make a comparison, like on a very tiny and insignificant level, and it's hard.
Yeah.
So-
you don't have to. You don't have. At some point, you just let it lie.
Yeah. So I think, but the story, I think what the story is Mike is standing next to something as a kid, or as something that has influenced and motivated and caused him to change his life.
Yeah.
To be this rotary machine, and has inspired him to now have an opportunity to say, thank you for everything that you've done for
but
me.
I'm not trying to compare his moment with mine. I'm trying to compare what would I do if I was in his shoes.
Right.
If something as simple as just
Oh,
like
because
giving a trophy.
I thought you said you gave a trophy
No,
over song.
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a little misconstrued by
Okay.
your
Yeah.
story. Regardless, Mike was melodramatic Mike.
Okay.
And got a little emo. And I'm happy for him. And it was cool. And rightfully so, because I don't think, gun to my head, what would I get emotional about that? Probably my wife and kids out of anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I cry like a bitch when it comes down to like me talking about my wife and kids. But gun to head to you guys, I mean, you're like, yeah, cool. Like, hey, like that moment, that like, what would make you that emo?
Well, see, that's the thing is I'm a very moment person too, because I look at each moment that is the moments is what creates stories. The moments is what creates memories. A good moment or a bad moment, that is what kind of creates that feeling, that emotional feeling. And I really do believe, once again, a lot of stuff I do is based off emotional reactions on communicating with people, or just things that make me emotional, because the emotions are what you remember, good or bad. You can remember the time you got kicked in the nuts in junior high that put you in the nurse's office. which is probably not a moment you remember, but it was emotional enough for you to remember that. But you're also going to be emotional enough to remember when that dude made you laugh so hard you peed your pants. But then also you're going to be remembering that moment when you're standing next to the car that gave you all your energy to build. Yeah, gave you your boner to build that car. So what I look at, once again, it's almost a psychological side because it's the moments and that emotional feeling is what creates memories. And I remember seeing that on your story and Mike's story, and I'm like, that's a moment because you can see how he's reacting to that, how excited he is. You were there to witness that excitement as a literally kid in the candy store saying, this is what I've done because of this.
It was cool, man. And the first time the car ripped around the track, I was like, hey, like, next up out on the track, Hampton Downs, you guys are going to witness. I'm going to lay out. 767B is here on Kiwi soil. Witness it in all its glory and the orchestra that is a four-rotor from the purest form. And Mike rode with it, and he had his dope Ayrton Senna helmet on. It's like painted up, and that car was intended to just be a one-seater, but they added an extra seat for it to be kind of cooler.
Yeah,
and just chipped and broke up his helmet, and like because we went karting with TJ Hunt, TJ and Calvin and Mickey a couple days after, and it was all chipped up. He says because the car is like super compact. So I stepped in there. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you'd be blowing out the sides. Carbon would be crushed. You look like Henry and Henderson with the big old
wearing the car.
Yeah.
So let's
zing back through.
Are you guys cool with that?
Yeah, no. I think I like the zinger analogy.
Jared, will you adopt me and give me a cool name like other kids? No. Is manslaughter?
Say who's saying it.
Oh, sorry. W Meyer 11. Jared, will you adopt me and give me a cool name like your other kids? Well, first of all, what are you kidding me? WMM.
Good job, Jared.
That's a good one right there, right? So WMMM. No, I will not. Manslaughter Mark. A good rap name?
That was Macho Man Randy Sanchez.
What is your favorite track you've been to besides the obvious St. Eustache? St. Eustache is great because Beaver Tails and Poutine. What was the best battle of formage of history? I just have to digress. And you talked about, you asked me, you said, what was your favorite year? Digressing to one of the most monumental for me was Alex Pfeiffer and Sammy Hubinette, Road Atlanta, year one, and it was a Hachiroku versus a Dodge Viper.
That's so crazy.
Right?
Well, I mean, in Atlanta as well, I think Forrest Wang versus Mad Mike. This was some very epic.
I would, and then to rebuttal that, I would say James Dean and Jonathan Castro.
Do you know what I'd also say? That was a very good one. That was a very good one. Also, Tanner Faust and give me 1 second. Darren McNamara, Irwindale.
Okay.
That was.
I don't recall that. D-Mac was in.
He was in the Solstice, the Falcon Solstice.
Yep.
You could probably Google it, Brian, if you want to pull it up. But I'll tell you.
Wasn't it Saturn Sky?
It was a Saturn Sky. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
Same thing.
What stuck to me on that moment was I think, proximity was always. That's the thing that's always been evolving and drifting.
Who was the banger again? D-Mac or Tanner?
I think
D-Mac was the banger.
I think D-Mac was the. Can you find that on YouTube, Brian?
We'll find it.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
Do some digging real quick. It's at Irwindale. Tanner was in the TC, and but I'll tell you what. So once again, going back to emotional moments and something that resonated is you see a lot of battles, and I think that was the first time I ever seen like crazy proximity going into the bank at Irwindale. And I was like, all right, this is That's when I felt a new generation has started. You can even look at the Daigo, like Daigo Long Beach 2012 was the year that I said, okay. Here's another year. There's something that is happening that is the changing of drifting.
Cool.
I felt Irwindale, those two started.
By the way, I liked your throwback photo, by the way.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That was actually, I actually peed on the floorboard. Yeah, I peed on the floorboard in that car before the race. Yeah. That was another throwback I was going to put there.
I found it.
I actually peed on the seat. Oh, you found it? Can you put it up real quick? All right. So this was the drifting run that changed, or when I felt the progression of drifting
old school
was
graphics.
For me.
That's sick.
So let's see. You will definitely notice it. Let's see. So it's going through old school form of graphics that Jared pointed out.
Things, yeah, sick.
Let's see. Yep.
T Faust and D Mac. Brought to you by Discount Tire. Tanner Faust.
And
here goes D Mac throwing it in.
Jared, do your thing.
And what's crazy? Do you think that?
See right there.
Look
like
at D Mac high on the bank, and he throws it down. Tanner Faust in that TC struggling a little bit in that 4-cylinder turbo, but D-Mac throws it in, that wing scraping back. He bounces off the wall, then tight to that clip. And this was this the long course? Yeah, this is the long course.
Yep.
What's crazy is like, look how much distance they have back
What
then.
year, does this say the year? What year this was?
Yeah, I'm trying to find it right now.
What year do you think this was?
Dude,
This had to have been 2012.
12?
No,
10.
way before that.
It had to have been 2009 or 10.
But look at
Yeah.
this. See, D-Mac has better proximity on the later half of the track. He was kind of shallow on the bank, kind of closes it in near the later half of the course. But I think it was the Tanner run on the first half where Tanner threw it in on him that I thought
Really?
proximity was
might have
changing.
gotten one more time. Might have gotten one more.
It may have. Can you fast forward that big balls? Let's see. Let's keep going. You want to answer some questions here?
So, talking to PK Rev dash or underscore RX8, will Kyle Mohan be running his RX8 this year in FD?
Yes, what I've heard.
I've heard something about Mohan. Come back to the RX8.
We might be having Cal Mohan.
Look at the
pretty
judges
soon.
real quick. It was Ernie
Kyle
Fixmer,
coming
Tony
up.
Angelo, and
It does it one more time.
Oh, I told you one more.
okay. So hold on. Let's see.
Well,
the-
you saw
Alright.
this already,
So-
Jared. You were there.
Yeah, I've seen. I'm the only person to see every single battle of all time. You know
pretty
that?
crazy, isn't
No,
it?
seriously.
Isn't
Yeah.
that-
Oh yeah. I'm
Yeah.
totally aware.
You
So
never
take
missed-
Paco's beer and neck it right now. Oh, he drinks cider and he's already necked it.
All right. Here we go. Hold on. Let's hold on.
Why
let's-
don't you come out to local events? I understand you're a busy man that travels the world.
Jared,
for work.
watch
You
this.
have a
You're
family
missing
man.
history right now. I don't know if you were there for this.
Was that Ben?
Look
Ben
at
Trainer?
that's it. That's the run right there. That's the run right there. That one
Look
more
at
time
Tanner
battle.
whip it. You D-Mac up on
Oh,
the wall.
doctor.
Tanner drops down a little bit, but look at D-Mac transition. See, there's some separation there. Can Tanner bring it back in?
Tanner fouls.
D-Mac, great angle. They're mirroring the angle, same distance, but Tanner makes his presence felt. He stuck his little
See-
little baby Faust inside of him.
His
says, "Hey."
his
He
microphallus.
says, yeah. His microfaust.
But that I think that was the run right there. Let's see. I think D-Mac may answer back on the one more time was definitely the one. But if you replay that here in a little bit, hold on. Let's see here. The Tanner's leading. D-Mac's in chase. Yeah. See, it was the Tanner lead. Can you rewind that one more time, Brian? Just go to that Tanner lead real
Do you guys
quick.
know Ben?
Ben Trainer.
Ben Trainer?
Yes.
Okay.
No, back a little bit more.
Sorry, Ben. I'm just
Back
I'm just a busy cat.
Back a little more.
Imperium Motorsports says if
Back a little bit more.
Calvin
Brian.
Cabilling was
Hold
a
on.
beer size, how many of them could you drink? Oh, I could drink a ton.
Okay,
of
Jared, I
Calvins.
need you to watch this.
All right,
Okay,
let's
so
do
this
this
is
again.
this once again. This is my moment. I know
This
I'm
is your
spin-
one more time battle. The second half of this battle, Tanner Faust is going to lead. D-Mac is going to give chase.
Wait, I think it's
No, it's actually D-Mac
is it.
leading. Sorry. No,
Let it
what?
go.
It was fine.
no, it was.
Oh, it was
uh,
Mac. Yeah, Darren. It was
McNamara.
Darren McNamara and Tanner Faust.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
we're
fine.
good.
All right.
Good.
Jared, go.
This is the moment when drifting
All
changed
right,
for
so
me.
D-Mac leads. Tanner Faust whips it in.
For 2009,
Right.
you can't
Oh,
tell
that's-
me.
Wasn't that a
For
V8?
Yeah.
For
TC?
2009,
Well, Tanner was a V8. He had a Ed Pink V8 Toyota
Yeah.
NASCAR. I said 4-cylinder turbo. Sorry. Yeah, he had a Ed Pink V8 NASCAR engine under the hood of that thing.
Nice.
Which I mean, that thing is a rocket. What did D-Mac have? He had a LS.
He
It was,
had.
it was.
Was he
I
LS?
was pretty sure it was a V8.
Yeah,
yeah,
he
the
was,
thing in the V8.
and I think turbo too.
So
Now
I
that's-
don't know why I'm so stuck on this. So, anyways, moment that changed drifting for me. This, watching open practice media day, Daigo Saito, looking at the wall on initiation, and just the dude is just
Just ripping.
blowing smoke, sounds I never heard before.
Right.
From wall to wall, I'm like, that's it. He broke.
Yeah.
He broke drifting. this
Yeah.
year. So that's it. Actually, who's that?
I
who's
said
that
O'Donnell
for-
there.
Yeah.
Did you hear me
Yeah.
say O'Donnell?
I said it right at the same time you were saying
I wish we
it.
had audio so we can listen to what Jared's saying.
No, but
Just
then,
so we
but
can-
then we
Nah,
get
it's all right.
demonetized
It's okay.
and.
Yep.
It's all right.
Yeah, so that was,
Right.
sorry, I got stuck on that
All right.
because once again, this is a very big deal for me.
Yeah, this.
How many
something happens
times
here.
did Chris JDSS? How many times did you and the others make fun of Mike's accent while here in New Zealand? He said
Right.
accept. So no, I didn't. I don't know how many times. I mean, I love Mike. Favorite Canadian beer? Le Fin du Mont from
Molson.
no Le Fin du Mont from Hofbrau or what's it called?
It's crazy to me
shoot,
that
I
you
don't
know
know.
beers based on region.
Yeah, Max Frolic. Who impressed you this year? Let me ask you.
Who impressed me?
Who impressed you this year?
Jonathan Castro.
Really?
100%. Like when he threw down, it's just
What event from Castro?
when
No, just in general.
yeah, like in
Right.
general. Like I mean, like
General consensus.
he just needs to be more consistent. But when he throws down, I mean, he can take on James Dean.
Matt Field.
That was last year. That wasn't 2018. That was 2017.
He can, but that's what I'm saying.
So
but
this year, so even though Castro's run was over a year ago,
no, but
2017.
this year Castro. So it was on Irwindale.
Yeah, he threw down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the highlighted moment that Castro did this
I'm just
year.
telling you, Matt Field impressed
Matt
me.
Field did very good.
I think Matt Field really impressed me.
And Chelsea.
I think Chelsea did all right. I think Chelsea did good.
He put on a great show. Regardless of his finishing.
The question is, who
impressed?
impressed you this year?
I think Chelsea definitely did some things that look very impressive.
Peter Vacek at Long Beach.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was, I think,
Yeah.
we saw a very robotic
and
side.
Odie too. Like
Odie.
I can't leave out Odie, man.
Yeah.
I want to say Odie.
Peter last year, phenomenal. 2018, watching him almost be as robotic as Dean in some cases, but then also outdrive Dean. Even outdrove him almost at Irwindale. 298 point qualifying runs from both drivers at Irwindale.
Right.
Dude.
That was sick.
So super sick. Okay, here's a side note. What else is so impressive off track? Forsberg going for every motor each round. He went through motor each and every round. Forsberg and finished fourth in points.
That in itself is pretty
fourth
impressive
in points. Changing motor, like obviously Texas. We go to Texas, pulling up. Here's 11 o'clock Forsberg, engine's laying on the ground. That with this, every round was like that. That's impressive. So, what a lot of these guys don't see is a lot of the operations behind the scene, which we get lucky enough to see. Which I wish once again we could broadcast them more. I think obviously having
or not, and that's just left to the ethos.
You see that jack stand right there? That jack stand right there.
That signifies
that
the work.
changed the game once again for the live stream and people seeing what's going on. And that moment is Kristaps created Kristaps, but that moment has showed Kristaps' character of I'm off this thing later.
Oh, I get it. Oh, I definitely get it. But some things just will never be documented, and thankfully so.
Yeah, no, yeah, and luckily enough, in some cases
because sometimes Big Balls just drops a little heavy hammer, and it comes in like a wrecking ball, like Miley Cyrus. Why are we so mad about the Ding Dong DeAnda hashtag? Well, because it's just dumb.
Was that a thing?
I don't think it was a thing. Thanks, Corolla Dave, for bringing that back. What was the most amazing thing you've seen while in Formula Drift that made you speechless or mind blown? I would say when Di lost the championship, and then Justin Pollock could have potentially won it, and then D-Mac could have won it, and then he lost it, and Digiro got it back.
Wow.
What was the most frustrating thing you've seen? Probably when Frederick Osbo crashed in Las Vegas, and it took like 3 hours to get our final set.
One of the coolest things I seen in FD was Daigo Saito fishing at the lake around Moroso.
Yeah?
Yeah. He's sitting out there with his fishing pole by himself, fishing at the racetrack out by himself. Yep, that was kind of fun.
Favorite East Coast beer? Oh, man. Brian Harris, 713.
What do you think of Yinglings?
It's the oldest brewery, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. It's novelty more than anything. It's not the best beer, but it's tolerable.
Okay, fair.
Favorite East Coast beer? Oh, man, that's a hard one. I'll go with, man, what's my boy, my boy Pete Boyd. He's just sent me some. It's pronounced in a very difficult way. It's Narangsat?
Naranja.
Naranja.
Fresh catch. No, this is it.
That's a purple lobster.
Narangsat. Fresh catch.
Nice lobster.
They sent me some beer. Nice lobster crab. But they sent me some beer. But I would say Barrel Theory. Barrel Theory, St. Paul. They sent me some beer.
That's crazy.
I had good lobster in Monterey.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like they're known for the
lobster. Yeah,
lobster.
lobster and Monterey are not in.
But for some reason it was so good.
All right.
That's an interesting question.
What's that?
Well, it's just more sort of curiosity because obviously the opportunities present. So I was like, how'd that dude get that spot? This is from Homer. Sorry. How did the Need for Speed Pro Street deal happen?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna ask that question. All right, Jarod, take us there.
I was announcing for Formula Drift, and they said, "Hey, like, do you want to do
Need for Speed
Need for Speed
Pro Street?"
Ryan Cooper's been killing it all day.
But you had a slightly different voice in it.
Yeah.
Hi, this is
Yeah.
Ryan Cooper's been killing it all day.
That nailed it. Sounds totally like it. No, it's funny. I was just
What is
watching.
this?
Oh my
I was just
God.
watching it the other day as a straight up like, huh?
I got like I love how there's Arizonians actually listening. Is it Alika 80?
Alika.
Okay, yep, he's a local guy.
Alika? Favorite bowl at Pokehale, which is my favorite poke spot
you
over
go.
on Gilbert Road, which I'd go spicy house with salmon and Hawaiian tuna. That's it.
Wow,
Damn.
brilliant.
On half rice, half spring mix.
Yum.
Do you have any vocal exercises you use before you do your thing? No. Drink booze and beer. What's your
Cinnamon.
favorite Washington beer? Ooh, Washington
Cinnamon.
State or DC? Washington State. Oof, that's a tough
It blows my mind how you know beer based on region. That's awesome. I really have no idea.
one. It's. I mean, there's
It's
so
a unique
many in
following.
Washington State.
It is.
There's so many in Washington State. Sorry. Fort George is really good. Why do you look so much like Sully from Monsters Inc? Which
So what was the- yeah,
Andreas Mesner.
You had that dude Calvin, or what
Yeah,
was
Calvin from TJ Hunt's thing.
it? He's a little tiny dude.
Yeah, and I'm a massive hairy dude. I'm actually not hairy outside of my face.
That was
That
kinda
sounded
funny.
really weird.
Oh, do the carpets match the grapes?
Nope.
Jacked out.
All right. How long did it take you to be as comfortable as you are with announcing?
Oh,
You know what?
did you ever have any type of prior experience in that?
Nope.
Just said, get out, Jared.
Nope.
You're taking my. Whoa, whoa.
Nope.
Look like they're. You sound like
Yeah,
me when I was
let's
doing.
do
I was
that.
announcing
Yeah.
the deal.
Gear
Here
for
they're
gear.
coming in. They're coming in right now.
Look, see that?
They're
Did
here.
anybody watch Homeboy announce with me at Irwindale?
Who is that?
Who?
The
one who
winner.
who won the auction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Yeah. I mean, we were
No.
there, but we kind of like we couldn't hear much. But how he did?
What?
Did he do okay?
How he did? Sorry.
How did
I
he?
love you, Paco. I
how
love
did
you.
he do?
Which is completely ironic. How he did. All right. It's a hot one. I'm just browsing. Ooh, it's Hooters in here. Hot in here. Anybody? It's Christmas time, so just gonna throw that one out there. Anybody? Movie?
No.
Brian. That's Brian.
Wait, say that again.
Did he do?
It's Hooters in here. Hot. I'm just browsing. I'm browsing.
That's
really?
a Christmas vacation.
Yes.
I was gonna say the
That
only
was
thing I know
super
from that
easy.
is
Yeah,
the only thing I
yeah.
know is Shitter's Full.
Yeah.
Clark,
Hey,
Shitter's
Clark.
Full.
Yeah.
Don't throw me down, Clark. Is your house on fire, Clark? That's for some reason me and my friends would always just watch that one part of the grandma coming into the house.
I watched it literally on the plane ride home from Auckland just to get in like the Christmas spirit. I watched it.
It's one of the best.
and it's hot
It's
down. Was it hot
probably
down
one
there?
of those.
Obviously, their summers are their.
Have you seen my
Christmas.
forehead? It's like brown.
Came back a different shade.
Yeah.
Hey, I have
50 Shades of Brown, starring
question?
I
Jarod
have one for
DeAnda.
you, Jared. More than a question, is a statement from Cole Tarsley in Hamilton. Jared DeAnda, my dad apparently beat up the singer of Toto in PCB in the 80s. Redneck's history of the day.
Sweet.
Wow.
Where's PCB?
I'm trying to think what's
Pacific
PCB.
Coast Beach.
Maybe PCB?
PCV or B?
B.
PCB.
Pacific-
Look that up. Big
Pacific
balls.
Coast Beach.
PCB.
I know PB. What was the most
Peanut butter?
mind-blowing thing that has happened at an FD event? We got into a bar fight at Brown's Bindery in
PCB.
in Novato, California.
Polychlorinated biphenyl.
What?
I've only fought twice in my
Printed
life.
circuit
7th
boards.
grade, and the last time we were at Formula Drift, Sonoma.
And a bar fight broke out. Were you the guy with the beer bottle swinging it at people?
Supposedly, Tony Angelo said I started it. Because he knocked over a glass, and then this other guy came over, and I was like, "Don't!" And
Well, how many beers do you feel are in you at this point? Because Jared had a
No,
certain
like none.
oh, and you
There's
still
only
started.
a few. No, he says I started because I was like, "Hey, man, like back off." And I,
Oh,
like,
okay,
shoved
as
dude,
anybody would kind
Yeah.
of do, right?
and it just
Escalated.
popped off, and it was like, "Yo, let me rattle off some of this roll call here." Notably, Brian Crower, Tyler McCory, Alex Pfeiffer, Forsberg, Lindsey Ross.
Wow.
Tony Angelo, Vaughn Gittin Jr., Sergio, Kevin Wells. Oh gosh, the list goes on. Conrad.
And it's a full
It
blown bar
was
fight.
it was like the bar versus us. It was
Oh
amazing.
my
And it went into the
God.
street. Cops came. It was amazing. I came home with a fat lip. I'm like, yeah, babe.
Look at what I did
This is
tonight. I
hot.
bit my lip eating a corn on the cob. She's like, "No."
Hot dog on a stick was lit.
Corn dog got me. Stung me right in the lip.
You know, homegirl with that weird hat just crunching away on the lemonade. She gave me an elbow real quick.
By the way, PCB is Panama City Beach,
Oh, okay.
Florida.
Okay.
Wow.
That's pretty cool. Did he get a championship winning belt off of that? I would have something.
Did he bless his face with his fist down at PCB?
Welcome to PCB, motherfucker.
Real best fish was happening, Craig.
Isn't Toto from? Are they,
Oh, there
are
it
they
is.
British?
Yeah, that was from Cole Tires. Yeah, he said
Yeah.
Cole. Well, I'm down.
Welcome to PCB, motherfucker.
Any insight on why Alexa got fired from Formula Drift?
Who?
I don't know why Alexa got fired from Formula Drift. Yeah, that's all I'll say about that. So,
I think you went through all the questions, Jared. Good job.
yeah, no,
Congrats. No, that's last few episodes we've been going through 3 or 4, and I feel like a
Yeah.
total d-bag for not being able to tag everybody's questions. But thank you for.
well, people had to tolerate our banter. I feel like let's give it
Yeah,
on the front
absolutely.
end
Yep.
about like kind of the
Yeah.
story and the history, and it's kind of I feel like it's mind numbing, man, because I mean I'm here, I enjoy your guys' company, you know, Balls,
Appreciate that.
Paco,
Right
Thank
on.
you, thank you.
Corey, Sam, rest in peace. But you know, it's just an amalgamation of what's going on, and what we're trying to accomplish here is just expose drifting to the masses, and those that are listening are obviously drift fans. But I just you know, I hate sounding like a old dude that is like,
From the old times.
I remember when
The good old times.
I'm just like, again, I hate the good old days. I want to make sure that everybody. Are you yawning? Don't yawn.
No, I almost cried. That's why I was yawning. I tried to hold the emotions back.
No 767Bs here, bro.
Jarod, you also these year, like, I mean, speaking of like crazy things, you starred in a short film. You voiced a short film.
Oh, and Balls.
Hold on, Jared's grabbing another beer.
I'm listening.
Yeah,
No, I know.
the Balls is a short film?
Yeah. So
To live and die in Los Santos.
Los Santos.
Yeah, I was definitely honored for Brian to ask for my voiceover talent.
Oh, the honor was all mine, man.
Nah, man,
it was awesome.
dude. What you did with that, I'd love to do it again.
Okay.
I'd love to do it again. Like, I want to do a 2.0.
Part 2.
Just on my thing, because again, going into that whole deal and expectations, I was blown away. I felt like I didn't give you all of me, if that sounds really weird and suspect.
It does, because I was really happy with what you did. But if you feel that there's more, then we should do another one.
I think there's so much more.
Well, can we do it with claymation, though?
Yeah.
That sounds
Like Gumby
very
style.
easy.
Oh my gosh, I love Gumby.
Gumby and
We
Hot
should
Wheels.
do like a Gumby style claymation.
I'm gonna call you Pokey.
It's cold in here.
Baby, it's cold down here.
No, yes, I was completely honored to live and die in Los Santos. Big Balls Brian delivered the Machinima film that was utilizing the GTA.
Grand Theft
Yeah, it
Auto.
was Grand Theft Auto 5 using the editor on there,
Dude.
and then on the Xbox One, and then post-edit on the PC.
Dude, seeing that and the time and effort that you and your wife put into that, I was completely blown away. You did the release, and it was so cool to see that, because I don't know, man. That just
So much time
it's
to-
kind of like whittling like a piece of wood, and you just see this thing, and it's very tactile, and oh man.
Oh, there it is right there.
goodness.
Yep. You made posters. You made a cassette tape of the audio.
Yeah, there's the soundtrack. You can find the soundtrack
And the
on
soundtrack
Bandcamp.
is ill as shit.
Which, by the way, is an original soundtrack. It was made just for this movie.
Yeah.
Which is it has like a Kavinsky sound to it. So if you're a fan of Drive, Kavinsky did the Drive soundtrack, and thank you to Paco. He gave me a Kavinsky LP.
Oh.
He gave me a vinyl record of Kavinsky, and yeah. So I'm completely honored.
Is this on the internet? Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, it's
it's live.
if you go to inpursuitfilms.com, or
I just linked it on the comments
yeah.
right now, so
I haven't seen.
you guys
I
can
gotta watch it.
We'll post it on the description as well. People can check it
So
out.
with all the things, obviously you announced Formula Drift, you've done that for quite some time. Now you're doing stuff like this. What's the weirdest thing you ever announced?
I wouldn't say weirdest because it's
Weddings.
It's
Most
it's
unique, most.
How many weddings you've
Eight.
officiated?
8 weddings.
Eight
I've
weddings.
officiated 8 weddings. Yeah.
Are you a registered minister?
Yep.
There you go.
You call me Rev Rod.
Rev Rod.
Rev Rod.
Car Rev Rod.
Yeah, car Rev Rod. The most obscure, I don't say
Okay.
odd or different or strange, the heavy metal karaoke costume contest at Comic-Con for Scion.
In
Look
San
at-
Diego?
You're fluttering.
Hold on,
In
it's-
San Diego, yeah.
That's pretty big time. Like,
So Scion hosted a heavy metal karaoke costume contest. So it was a karaoke event, but it was a live band, and it was at Comic-Con in San Diego.
Oh damn,
That's pretty
On
And
rad.
top
like
of that-
my boy Josh Barnett showed up, who's like a big UFC fighter, and I know you could take him out because of all your training. Corey.
Josh Barnett. Oh,
But,
yeah, dude.
yeah.
So much better wrestler than
Yeah,
him.
Josh Barnett's a turd.
Is he?
Joking. No, Josh Barnett's a
Dude,
evil-
the War Machine.
Yeah, there you
he's-
go. Wow, really?
Oh, dude, I'm
Big fan.
I'm very familiar with everything UFC. And there's so many.
Babyface, the babyface assassin.
But now he's.
But Josh is the smartest dude I know.
Oh,
He's super smart. You know that?
yeah.
Have you ever met his mom? His mom.
No, I haven't
will-
even met that guy because he'd probably destroy
Dude,
me. But
Josh-
listening to him on
Josh-
Joe Rogan, he is
Yeah.
very, like, his IQ, his fighter IQ.
Josh is insane.
Boom.
He is a beautiful specimen. I love Josh. He's such a rad dude.
And he
like,
was into drifting. He used to go to drift events, didn't
he
he?
comes all the time. He trained Di how to like roll.
No.
Yeah, Josh comes all the time. Josh is a homeboy. Like, Josh is a fantastic cat.
No way. So,
Corey's mind blown.
no, thing is,
And his mom is super cool. So he brought his mom to SEMA like multiple times,
Right.
and he's like, "Oh, it's my mom," and she's just spitting she's like all these American engines and all the trans and all this stuff. I'm like, oh my gosh, like she is ridiculous.
So topic MMA. Been interested in it for probably 7 years, like low key. Like, this is the stuff I study. I study the fighters. I study the fights. I study what they practice. Like nerd alert, full nerd
Yeah.
alert. MMA stuff. But what attracts me to MMA is how also relative it is to what we do. Right? You look at the Conor McGregor era.
Okay.
It's this character. It's his personality. It's how he sells himself. It's how he sells the fights.
Yep.
It's his performance. Each fighter has their own individual way of creating a character, a personality, and their own style. And so when I watch this, what really intrigued me is watching how these guys train, how they prepare, and then the mental process, which Josh was brilliant on how he conducted himself during the fight. He's always thinking ahead of what the other guy's doing before he is doing it. It's a lot of mental warfare. It's a lot of strategy. It's a lot of planning. And that's what draw me to it outside of the fighting. Like, the fighting is great, cool. But it's what happens out of the ring that is probably the most impressive thing, because they're the most strong-willed dudes, but they have to be, once again, very, very smart on what they're doing and how they're doing this. But once again, Conor McGregor era came around. It's like, look at this dude sell fights. Yes, he can perform, but he's the biggest name, highest paid because of what he does outside of the arena, also by able backing up.
Do you buy the fights now?
Yeah, I watch. I support it. I
Okay.
support. Yeah, I support the fights because obviously I study it too, and I watch the pre-show, post-show,
Wow.
after. Yeah, oh yeah.
Really?
So like Josh Barnett, very familiar, big-time jiu-jitsu guy, big-time wrestler. He was a heavyweight champion at one point.
Yep.
Yeah, very.
Yeah,
Yeah,
get his belt taken away.
Yeah.
But he's such a rad dude. Like he'd be a great guest.
God,
on
it's
here.
crazy that all those dudes.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of car guys like Rampage Jackson just bought a 240 building
Yeah.
it.
T-Pain.
T-Pain is now
Wait,
now
Rampage
drifting.
Jackson is building a 240.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys that are actually. A lot of these dudes are dabbling their foot in the arena to see what
No,
see what else is out there.
yo, we're here. People have heard us, and like I'm just proud to be part of the equation.
Yeah, man. Especially for continuing to go on as long as it has. Even Jim and Ryan were like, there's sometimes we didn't think it was going to make it the next year.
Right.
15 years later,
Yeah.
look at it now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think there's a great growth in drifting. Korea's happening. FD
Yeah.
Korea. For me, what do you guys got going on next year?
Oh, next year we're
I have a birthday party in March.
no. I think for us, like our biggest
it.
thing is
March.
Yeah,
That's like a
birthday.
whole quarter of a year away. When 39,
I'll actually. I don't even know. I think I'll be 38.
25. All right.
I don't even know how old
All
I
right,
am.
back to you. So what do you got?
How many in dog years, Paco?
Yeah.
What do you
All
think?
right.
8.
For next year, as far as myself or as far as this program?
Program
Like,
yourself,
okay.
whatever. What,
So-
I mean, just come on.
What I would like to do with this is, so Paco and I are currently working on a lot of YouTube stuff for the channel.
God damn it! I'm
And
38.
You old turd. Old man, we just pick you up with a shovel out of the
Just
grass and
double
we're
check.
about smearing it into the grass. That's how old and dry you are right now. So we're doing a lot of YouTube content now, and then a lot of this YouTube content is going to be educational content. Like, so Paco and I were actually taking a new 240 and building it start to finish.
A new 240?
Well, 1995 new. And think about it. That's like 25 years old right
An
now.
untainted 240S.
Pretty much. But do you know what? It's 23 or 24 years old now. These S14s.
yeah.
Unreal.
You
But
can get
once
copper
again,
plates in Arizona.
yeah, so we're working with Sam. We're working with Joey Pleck as another local guy to create more YouTube content. You see a lot of the stuff thriving out there. People wanting to know. People ask us questions regularly. I'm sure you probably get a lot of questions regularly. It's how can we document that and put it out there YouTube? So we're trying to work with a larger distribution, but also do more direct information from the drivers on a YouTube series as well, as far as driving techniques or driving methods or strategies to help them grow. Just short, brief bangers to get people educated more about drifting and methods of drifting. For myself, building another car, which is going to be documented on the Maximum Driftcast YouTube page. Drift car that I'm going to be taking to Grid Life. Paco 2F is obviously helping me with a bunch of new body kit stuff that's not going to be done. I don't know about Pro 2 yet. I keep saying I don't know, and I do, but I'll tell you, Grid Life Atlanta is really what triggered it for me. It's like, dude, I want to go drive so bad with these guys. I want to go compete.
You know what,
But
man? It's all good. Watch that documentary.
Yeah.
Momentum Generation.
Yep, I wrote it down.
And do yourself tonight.
Yeah,
You're gonna watch it.
I'll watch it tonight. Yep.
Do you have HBO?
Yeah.
Do you want me to give you my HBO to go?
Yeah,
Like,
can I get your
solid.
Netflix and
Are
your
we doing
Hulu?
this?
Let me get your Netflix and Hulu, Jared, for the night.
Yeah.
But once
Watch
again,
it.
so the theory behind, once again, just open mind. I love Formula Drift. It's working within your means.
Yeah.
It's doing what you feel you're happy doing.
Okay.
I was super ecstatic earlier as FD. I thought that was me. I thought FD was me. Being out there at the top.
It is you.
And I feel part of it is.
I mean, you're here. You're talking about drifting. You're
I
wearing a
am.
Hoonigan shirt or a Hoonigan hat. You're wearing a Maximum Drift. I mean, you stole Bruno Mars jacket. I don't know why you're wearing a extra
Well, he's like
small.
5'3" and I'm 6'4", so it's kind of it fits just right. See my belly
literally
button.
Jamon my jacket.
Dude, I have a zipper on the sleeve, like pack some stuff in there.
Yeah.
But the thing I realize about competing in Formula Drift, it is for some people. Competition is for and for not. And for me, I think I wasn't in a stage to be competitive as I should be. I think the later years of me being with Forsberg and Force telling me how to be competitive and just changing my mindset. Because originally I wanted to go out there and be the guy in FD. I wanted to be part of the pros. I wanted to be, but I didn't know what Forsberg told me near the end of the year. It's like,
Right.
dude, pull the reins back. It is much different than it's this
Yeah.
Uncle Scott yelling at me and all these dudes saying, Hosford, you here, let's teach you what it is to be a
Right.
pro rather than be. So I wish I had that mindset when I had now back then, because I think I could have been more successful. So that's why for me to go back in FB is to prove to myself that if I had what I had then and put everything together, I'd be more. So it's my challenge is for against myself, not against anybody else.
Yeah.
So that's my challenge to come back. So
Don't call it a comeback.
No. It's once again, for me, it's a challenge for myself.
Right.
So
Hey, your mind is your own worst enemy.
yeah, I dude,
No, hey, I get it. Man.
we've
I get it. I get it.
throwing out names, like talking about Vaughn. Vaughn used to tell me, he's like, dude, I used to have like a sports therapist that's
Yeah.
like, tell me
He
how
had
to
a
cool
mental
down.
block.
He had a mental block.
And and he learned that by Chris Rado and this and that. And I mean, there's multiple things.
But it
and
does
there's-
something to you. It does.
Yeah.
Putting it. So once again, I use this analogy all the time. J.R. Hildebrand, he ran for 3 or 4 rounds. He said,
Right.
this is more qualifying for an FD event is much more stressful than qualifying for the Indy 500. Like that's something
insane.
that a dude who's finished top 2 at Indy 500 said about our sport.
That's
and
insane.
I have never had that. I didn't think about once again stepping in back then. Just whatever. We'll go out there and drive. We'll go out there and drive. I've never felt the sense of butterflies. I've never sensed the stress. And so going in that the first year, I think that's where a lot of rookies and a lot of new guys struggles, because once you get in that spotlight, your brain does stuff you never thought it would do.
Right.
And it was just that's being unprepared. And I was unprepared for 2 years. But now, knowing and feeling and experiencing, I think it'd be much better off. So even when you said, go win, it will literally take that to receive the emotion you will receive being out there. Because it's not just the driving side, that's the emotional side.
Yeah.
It's Jarod in the announcer stand. You're practicing next to Vaughn. You have Chris waving at you in the pits. You have Formula Dread back in the day.
Dude, you are so overthinking like the whole process.
No, but once again, coming from a young guy dreaming to be this, you put in the spotlight, you kind of freeze when the light hits you the first time, right? Somebody hands you a mic and tells you to start singing. It's like, I want words to come out, but it's not coming out.
Right.
That's what I felt like in the driver's seat. I had this performance I wanted to perform, but I couldn't perform because of this thing that was beating me up mentally. And so now that I feel like I got it out of the way, and a lot of people, and once again, Chris is a prime example. Forsberg's a prime example.
Right.
He's a dude, and I took beta blockers at one point. I was trying to take beta blockers. I was trying. I'm telling you guys, I was trying to do things.
Hey, another podcast to listen to is Kevion, this Project Mindset, another podcast that I really enjoy, and he interviews Casey Curry, and it's a fantastic podcast. Just Casey Curry talks about just his success and his failures and this and that, and primarily, I mean, the Curry family is synonymous with desert racing. So,
very familiar with them.
And what I'm saying is, listen to it because I love Casey. Kevion I have not met, but I admire his hustle because he's a real estate agent, and he's seems like a lovable cat, father, husband, seen some things, sober, this, that, and the other thing. Just listen to it. Project Mindset, Kevion.
Mindset.
Project Mindset.
Let me write it down for my homework tonight.
With Casey Curry. Okay, dude, what other what podcast do you guys listen to? And if I did a podcast or if I did a YouTube show, what would you guys like to hear or see?
With you?
With me.
I mean,
Paco, Balls. Corey.
I think you definitely could do like a lifestyle traveling, meeting people, literally having a beer.
Podcast and or video?
And
like
or,
YouTube?
yeah. I mean, talk about the places you've been, the people you've met, having a beer with somebody that you just met, and how, the whole interacting of having a beer with somebody made you connect, Okay. It's very different when you just, talk to somebody than when you sit down and have a beer, or have a drink.
Well, it dissolves. It kind of just calms the scenario.
Sure, but have you seen that documentary, How Beer Saved the World?
I haven't.
Jarod. Okay,
so I'll tell you what's.
I think you need to watch. I think you need to watch that.
My podcast is so nerdy sometimes. I got 60 minutes.
Good one.
Okay, Armchair Expert.
Good one. Best one.
Okay,
I love Dak Shepard.
I have some MMA stuff. I have Chel Sonnen, You're Welcome. The MMA Hour. I have The Fighter and the Kid.
Wow.
Joe Rogan. And then I have, this is a weird one, The Higher Side Chat, which is, it's weird. It's more of just extraterrestrial aliens, just so far out thinking that.
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Just thought provoking.
Yeah, just.
All right. I'm with it.
So that's kind of the range. I listen to everything from, once again, the 60 Minutes, where they just had Elon Musk, which.
Right.
Once again, I like Elon Musk because of his thought process.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of my little list there.
I like it. Balls. If I was gonna have a YouTube show or a podcast, what would you want? What would you expect? What would make you tune in?
I think just your personal experiences and cultural lifestyles, because you travel a lot. Why not use that as just?
Yeah, the travels seems to be a recurring thing.
It's very much a part of your life, though.
Here's the thing. That was literally what Anthony Bourdain did. Talk about his travels.
Yeah,
and,
I mean,
so,
Anthony Bourdain is a unit of measure, and obviously I don't want to kill myself.
So
you could even do a bit of the history of tattoos, or give a story for each of the different tattoos, because you have a lot of them, and I'm sure there's a great story behind each.
Yeah, and it goes together because that you pretty much get them on your travels.
Yeah,
this is my thought. My thought is Jarod DeAnda. Everybody knows Jarod DeAnda, Voice of Drift. Some very light automotive experiences.
Okay,
but what about the automotive experiences that have created the other experiences, which is highlighted. So it's like, hey, I'm Jarod DeAnda, voice of Drift, but let me tell you what we've done
in the pits.
Just in general, it's like you could tell. The thing is, if I tune into Jarod DeAnda, I'm tuning into you originally because Motorsports got me into Jarod DeAnda.
Right.
So I'd probably want to
but those photos don't get likes.
Right. Well, so as long as you told me, it's like, hey guys, I was in New Zealand this weekend with Mad Mike. This is what went down. I had a chance to experience this, and then tell me about the experience of that travel. So I think Motorsports would be light taste, but it's more so the experiences of you being there.
All right. Let me give it to you.
Yeah.
2019. Let's do it.
2019
YouTube podcast. I'm down,
dude. It is. I'm telling you, you really should, because, like I said,
it's happening.
You have stories bound up for 15 years. And so
40 years.
40. So I'll tell you another.
I haven't been on the route.
Here.
I'm 15 years old. Oh, jeez. Let me tell you.
Let me hold on. I'm gonna look something real quick while you guys are talking. So there was this other thing that I was tuning into. Let me look it up. I'm trying to pull up the exact name.
Is this the longest episode ever?
Not yet.
No, not yet, but
it's pretty good.
It's getting there.
It's there. Yeah.
It's getting there.
It's good though. It's good stuff.
Is it?
Yeah.
We are
right.
We've been live for 2 hours and 24 minutes.
I wanna answer these dudes. I want to make sure that like we play the what's it called, the when like the band comes back on.
Oh, encore.
Thank you.
So here, let me see if I can pull this up.
El Pastor.
Ooh, Paco, that's all you.
SR Chava 90. So it's El Pastor asada tacos. Asada all day.
Asada all day long.
El Pastor just been marinating. And favorite Mexican beer? I gotta go Pacifico, man.
Really?
Yeah. That's just a good maintainer. I do like a Modelo just because I feel special when I have to like peel.
You mean
it.
a Modelo?
I feel like
a Modelo Especial.
Yeah, so like you grab the gold foil and like. Could you ever see a Formula Drift video game in the future? Duh.
It's close. But it's getting close.
So podcast real quick. Your podcast.
Oh, really? I don't even know.
Well, just looking at how the how much
Forza
Formula
Horizon.
Drift, Forza is really taken into Formula Drift a lot with the car packs and the more attention to detail with drifting that they've been paying to. So they're doing a lot of progressive changes. I think that it's the closest thing. That's like a buy and ready to play. But there's a lot of great stuff on Assetto Corsa as well that third-party developers have been putting into with extreme detail.
Yeah, so
trying to
Assetto
retain
Corsa
that.
is like a big thing, huh?
Yeah, it is. It's an incredible world of how so many people who are passionate about
but
drifting
Assetto
have been
Corsa
developing that stuff,
is not made for drifting. You just have to mod it.
That's the bottom line on
Where-
it. Is
where
Assetto Corsa is a
Forza
racing
actually
game, and there's
exists.
third-party developers who came in to mod it to make it more applicable for drifting, and they've been pretty good at it. But to go right in from you buy the game, pop it in your Xbox, and start playing right into Forza, you can pick your FD cars and start running with your buddies or wherever online. And the improvement that they made in that game has gone leaps and bounds in the last 3 months. It's been really incredible with how they've improved their physics and doing more.
They're
for
definitely
users and stuff.
paying attention, and they're definitely paying attention to people who actually wants to drift with wheels.
Yeah, and it's still developing, but it's really been good.
Huh.
So talking to you about podcasts and YouTube, what intrigues me about podcasts?
PCast? Because I got a pee.
You
So bad.
got a peek. There's a trash can over here. Just dump it in and go. So okay, podcasts and YouTube. It's a great place to document your career, your life, your memories, and it'll be there forever.
Okay.
And what reminded me of this is there was this kid, this 19-year-old kid.
Oh, I think I know the story.
The kid who's interviewing the World War II vets.
Yes.
Yes.
No, CBS News Sunday Morning. I don't know if you know that's my favorite TV show.
Oh yeah,
of
don't
all
you have
time.
a tattoo of that too?
I do have the sun over my right knee, and it makes me happy when I travel.
See, look at CBS. So, anyways,
I emailed him and told him to interview my grandpa.
Right? Yeah, because that's. So, anyways, but what triggers that thought is this kid was bright enough to interview. So you guys don't know, this kid is 19 years old, and he is just so inspired by the World War II generation and the combat veterans of World War II. And he says, this generation is going to go away soon. We need to document and get as much information as you can.
Yeah.
And so the idea...
Put him on blast.
Yeah, it's if you scroll all the way down to the bottom.
Yeah,
so the idea is this, is history's being made every day. Things are happening in your life every day. Things are happening in motorsports every day. And the advantage that we have that other generations don't have, like the World War II generation or even the generation after that, is they didn't have the opportunity to tell their stories or share their stories to continue to live on. And so what he says in this deal is, we lost that with the World War I veterans, the experiences, the training, what happened, how they lived their life afterwards. And so he's making sure he interviews all that. And so like with podcasts and YouTube stuff, especially for you, no matter what you talk about, you're creating a memory that's going to last forever, that even generations later on, whoever inspired by Jarod DeAnda can tune in and listen to your experience, because we have that. That's our advantage right now.
That's a great motivational, 100%. And only because my grandpa, who's still with us, I'm going to go there and I'm going to see them next weekend.
Nice. Yep.
My grandpa, 94, grandma, 92.
Yep.
They celebrate 75 years of marriage in February.
Unreal.
And so Heroes of the Second World War.org filmed interviews of World War II combat veterans. Our mission is to film interviews with the remaining World War II combat veterans, of course, the U.S., pardon our ignorance for international listeners, to strengthen relationships between these veterans and their communities, and to create a living memorial to pass these veterans' wisdom on to future generations. And I'll tell you what, my grandpa, he got shot down over Germany. He drives a Japanese car. They moved to Poitiers, France when my mom was in elementary school. So there is no burden of international affairs
absolutely
for
not.
my grandpa,
Absolutely
or
not.
my grandma. I only say that because international affairs.
Right.
But wow, that's a great vantage point, and that's funny that you bring that up because again, CBS News Sunday Morning is my favorite TV show, and it is an aspiration of mine to be featured on that show at some point in time or be a host of it.
That'd be awesome.
Anyways,
but that goes back to telling you, no matter what you make, it's
Document
good.
it.
It's good that it's out
Document
there
it.
because
Yeah.
it's going to live forever.
Good point.
So that's my 2 cents, and that's why I'm so glad we do this. That's so why everybody tunes in. These guys, what they comment to us also resonates and continues to hopefully support a generation that's interested in drifting, a generation that's interested in motorsports and growing. It's nobody had that prior to us, and that's why it's so important to take advantage of the resources and tools that we do have, because once again, this is something that can live on forever, that can help society in some degree.
It's a different library.
It's a different library.
Different library, man. It's not
Nope.
the Smithsonian, man.
Nope.
Hey, American Animals. Watch that movie. American Animals. So it's a true story. It's not based on a true story. It's a true story, and they actually interview the people that did it. It's these kids in Kentucky that actually scoped out, and they were going to steal this book in their college. It was the Audubon, the dude that created the Audubon Society. He did paintings, this massive book, and they had all these books, and they scoped out this library and stole this book. And they interview the real dudes in the movie.
No way.
And it's like this very good quilt of a story where it's like the real people reenactment, but in a great way. It's called American Animals.
We got a list, boys.
We have homework.
We got a
writing
list.
it down.
We got to go pee. Ready to wrap?
Oh, I'm ready to pee so hard.
All right, guys.
Well-
Balls, what do you say? You ready to wrap?
Let's do it.
Rap, as in freestyle.
No. Yeah.
We're talking about big balls. We do the malls. We're talking about windows to the walls, slicking all the balls. We're talking about Corey Hosford, Paco, and Waka. Let's do
Wait, no, but
taco.
hold on. Before we roll the
remix.
credits, we have to thank our sponsors.
AM Intakes.
AM Intakes.
Patreon, you guys are freaking awesome. Paco did last episode in Españole. Thank you, Paco.
That
Thank
was
you,
horrible,
Patreon.
by the way.
We
Never
got
doing it
Motegi
again.
wheels. We got the Nexen tires. We got everything to make the world go round underneath us.
Oh, wow.
Right now.
Yeah, so the intakes,
Suck it up, baby.
tires,
Burn them up.
The wheels.
Rams,
Bolt them on.
Motegi
There it
Racing.
is.
And then the patrons, because that's the fuel.
That is the gas.
That's
the
the
Patreon
fuel.
is the gas
Yeah.
and oil.
How much skin do you win if you? How much skin are you showing on Patreon?
It's not, dude. It's a Patreon. It's not. It's
We
not
don't
a
show
snap,
anything that's
It's
pink.
not a Snapchat. it's
Anything
not a
that's pink, we
Snapchat
don't.
Premium.
Yep.
Oh, got it.
Yep.
It's a different thing.
Anyways,
But
guys.
with that, let's go back to the rap. And Jarod, you want to send us out?
Thank you for joining us here on Maximum Driftcast. I'm Jarod DeAnda, Corey Hosford, Paco Ibarra, Big Balls, Sam Nalvin, rest in peace.
Reese's Pieces.
Rip Nalvin.
Maximum Driftcast.
All right, guys, have a good night.
you
Thanks
guys
for
next
tuning in.
week.
Send it.